It's time for Seminole Headlines featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
The Seminole Headlines, and away we go. 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Thanks so much. If you're locked in on Warchant TV, like and subscribe. As always, we appreciate it. Good to be with you. Kind of a holiday edition, as this will be the last before next year. I guess it is, to be honest with you.
I wouldn't think we'd do one next year, right? Our next week, we'd probably take that off.
Yeah, we're going to take that one off.
Okay,
yeah,
all right. You going to be out of town?
I am, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely.
Where are you going?
Tampa, St. Pete, Bradenton.
Oh,
none of your business, really.
I mean, I guess not.
Anywhere else you want to know?
That was a disappointing answer. I thought it was going to be somewhere cool.
If you needed
no offense,
to know,
Tampa.
If you needed to know, he would have told you.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Well, I was going to be in a suite at the Lightning game on the 28th, but it looks like that'll probably be canceled. The NHL just canceled games through the 27th. I can't imagine that the Canadians are going to be flying down to Tampa to take on the Lightning there. Like they wouldn't want to anyhow.
Right.
Lopsided affair. But some things are getting ruined. By the way, that's not how we start the show, Corey. We start the show by saying, thanks to Register Sausage. Yay, sausage. Let's go.
What a year for Register Sausage.
It's mainly because of us.
It's got to be their greatest year in Register Sausage history, right?
I think the bonuses are on the way.
Oh, for sure. It's registermeats.com is the website. If you haven't already ordered it, I'm not sure it's going to get there by Christmas, but
a little
listen,
late. Yeah.
It's fine. You get it for the New Year's. Registermeats.com. They have all kinds of different sausages. I saw in the responses to the Twitter question, Corey, somebody asked maybe when you might learn how to pronounce. I don't know how to say it.
Andouille, that's what I call it.
Andouille.
Is it andouille?
What do you think, Jeff? We need to get Ben on here. We need a consultant.
I would say andouille.
I think it's tomato. Although nobody ever says tomato. I think I say andouille. I also say Louisville.
No, you don't. You don't do that.
I do say Louisville.
Do you really?
Absolutely.
Well, then you're wrong for
just
sure.
out of spite.
Yeah.
But anyway, all kinds of. They've got the cheddar jalapeno.
I know how to say that.
Oh man, they're delicious. All kinds of different variety of sausages, and or if you live in North Florida, over to Alabama, into Central Florida, Jacksonville area, go to your local grocery store, and if they don't have registers, stage a sit-down strike. That's what we encourage here at Register Sausage.
Don't assault anybody. It's
just a sit-down strike.
Right.
Peaceful protest.
Yeah. Until they bring it in.
Maybe block the door.
Yeah. Be forcibly removed.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
That's how everybody would see it then. It'd make the news.
Look, if you won't sit down, you won't stand for sausage. You'll fall for anything.
There it is.
That's what we always say.
Well done. So anyhow, great banner year for Register Sausage. Thanks to us here at Seminole Headlines and I suppose the product. Now, that said, Micah Pittman.
You're gonna start there, huh? Because
Well,
it's been a week. It's been
got a receiver.
Okay, right.
Needed one.
Yep.
And a punt returner.
Yeah.
Can I just start with that?
Right.
Punt returner. Actually, when I saw the news, I just went, I don't know what he's going to be as a receiver, but he will catch and return a punt.
Yeah.
Hey, up to that point, we were fine with Bless Harris returning punts.
Yeah, you're right.
Anybody, somebody in the portal.
So he had 15 for 150 last year as the Oregon punt return. He only played half the season, right?
He played on 10 games.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Florida State for a team had 17 for 71, and 33 of those came on one return against Jacksonville State. So the other 16, they had 38 yards total in punt returns. Plus,
that's not good.
The 150 yards that went bouncing by them because they wouldn't catch punts. So yeah, you're talking about probably if he can catch it and run forward for a first down or close to it like he averaged Oregon, you're talking about right away being 20 yards better every game just by catching the ball and not letting it bounce.
And as Ira has correctly pointed out, those aren't hidden yards. You can see those
exactly.
yards.
Yeah, you see it
you're
bouncing.
looking right at those yards.
Stop calling them hidden yards when you're talking about Florida State.
Every time the ball was bounding towards the goal line, you're like, that's 10, 15.
Yeah, that's 18 yards right there. Yeah.
I'm looking at them.
But, the big areas of need for this football team, obviously, offensive line, wide receiver, defensive end. They've gotten 7 offensive linemen now, 5 high school signees last week, including one 5-star and 2 4-stars, and then two college transfers, Caden Lyles from Wisconsin and Bless Harris from Lamar.
I'm by law required to say what you know about Bless Harris. Go ahead.
There you go. And then wide receiver, you got Micah Pittman. They're trying to make some more moves there. And then it's defensive end. They put some offers out. There's some guys, some intriguing defensive linemen have gone out into the portal. But I think they're counting on more as this process goes forward. So, they're not that far from meeting some of these needs.
It feels like a month since signing day happened.
I know.
It doesn't feel like that just happened. We really haven't done a show, have we?
Since 6 days. 6 days ago.
It feels like that was a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
We should have done live headlines on that.
Oh my gosh, there would have been some
how was
stuff.
your show?
Even more content.
How was your show that day, buddy?
It was great. A lot of fun.
Tom said you did a good job of. I was still in the damage control mode over at warchant.com, but Tom said you did a pretty good job of maintaining an even keel.
I was fine.
Listen, everybody was freaking out.
Yeah, everybody did. That's where I understand in an emergency situation, Ira, that it's really incumbent
Cooler
upon
heads
me to help.
prevail.
Guide.
That's what
Uncle
leaders
Jeff
do.
comes in and says, listen,
That's what leaders do.
this is obviously a setback. But we need to talk about this.
Yeah.
You got a brother who's an air traffic controller.
That's
so
right.
it's in the genes.
It's in the genes. Like, hey, when it's hitting the fan, everybody's got to calm down.
Right.
Let's not overstate things here. In truth, I mean, we all were disappointed, but at the same time, I think greater disappointment than an individual doing what he did was the fact that they just whiffed mightily on receivers. And that's why I led today with this, because look, what's done is done. I mean, Travis Hunter's gone and it is what it is.
Well, and also,
you better find some damn receivers.
Is there any chance that Norvell listened to this show and was like, I don't know that Hunter's going to be much of an impact player. Why don't we pull that offer?
Or that's one possibility. Or Travis listened.
Travis listened like these guys don't even appreciate.
Maybe Jackson State headlines. Those guys will
They'll
love
be
me.
excited about the number one player in the country.
I like that angle. I like the approach that it was actually Norvell who said, now that I'm thinking about it.
Nope.
Right. I know it's an hour before he's supposed to sign, but guys, I'm going to pull the offer.
Yeah.
Everybody good with that here?
Yeah, we're good.
We're all good.
It's only been 2 years.
Don't worry about it, guys. All right. It's a tough phone call to make, but I'll make it. I'm the head man.
Yeah,
so here
that's
we
right.
go.
Well, that's what people do. Like when people turn down jobs. I mean, FSU, the thing with Vince Tyree, who's considered the AD before he was not the AD at Louisville. He's put out there that he took himself out of the running.
Oh, really?
Some FSU people have said, no, FSU backed out once he started waffling. But it's, that's just kind of how it goes. So yeah, that would be the play if you're Mike Norvell. He should at the press conference, he should have said, you know what, when we kept asking questions about Travis Hunter without saying Travis Hunter,
right?
Because we were told we couldn't ask questions about
which
players,
I loved how you guys navigated that. Good job.
Players who weren't allowed to sign somewhere else or who signed somewhere else. And he should have just come out and said, you know what? Listen, guys, when we pull an offer, we don't talk about that in public.
Yeah.
I mean, it's embarrassing. We don't want to, we're not out here trying to
other coaches will
humiliate the kids.
Now, look, if a young man that we pull an offer from the night before signing day in a year from now wants to enter the portal and we like what we've seen on film,
he's think proven himself in ways he hasn't up to this point.
Right. But right now, we're not taking just some random kid from Swanee, Georgia, not saying any names. That was a bit, was that
could have been from anywhere in Georgia, guys.
Was that a bigger gut punch than Jacksonville State?
No, not to me. Now, I look at
it's close, though.
Listen,
because of who he was and because he was committed for so long.
Actual games bother me more. I've said that for years. I mean, I get recruiting's the lifeblood of all programs. We get it. And it sucked that we didn't get Travis Hunter, and we're on the wrong end of one of the historic flips of all time. Probably the biggest. Yeah, probably the biggest.
There's nothing what's even second.
Well, it also ushers in what we now know to be an era of uncertainty for everybody.
Yes.
Hulk Hogan, I think. Hollywood Hogan.
Bro, that was a big flip.
Did you believe it?
I
and then
know.
the beard was black all of a sudden. What are we doing?
The music
here?
changed.
I actually like the music change. It's like, oh, that's better. That's actually better. Yeah. So anyhow, the long story short, I when you lose to a team that you're like 150-point favorites against because you treat the game as a glorified scrimmage and you know in the moment that it's ruined the rest of your season no matter what you do from here. That's a tougher deal for me to handle.
Right.
Than an individual kid in a team game deciding I'm going to ride. Because you can overcome that. You can overcome Travis Hunter going to Jackson State. In fact, the fact that he went to Jackson State and not say Florida or Miami guarantees that you can overcome it because you're not going to face that dude ever. They're not going anywhere.
He didn't go to Georgia, which I know Florida State doesn't play Georgia. I don't think. Maybe they're still scheduled to play a few years from now. But he didn't choose another Power 5 program.
Right.
He went completely off the reservation to something that you can't even compete against. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus there's other things involved, but just going from his tweet and what he wanted to do and what he wanted to accomplish, Florida State couldn't do that for him.
Yeah, and the point is, had he gone to a rival in the state, to me, then that would have been the ultimate kick in the pants. That would have been the one where you're like, well, that's a toughie, and you just got played by people you have to face every year, and rivals at that within the state. That portends of problems moving forward. This doesn't to me. This is an outlier. It's part of an uncertain time, which we see in the world of recruiting now.
Dude, this is crazy. This is crazy recruiting.
Right, but it's also, I think, the beginning of probably quite a few modifications when it comes to other elements that we've talked about on a regular basis. But
Yeah. I was trying to think when you're talking about other flips, like Dante Fowler fell in he's not the same caliber of player, but he was I think he was a 5-star. He was at least a 4-star.
Yeah.
And he flips from FSU, who he'd been committed to forever, to Florida at the last second. So you're going to be playing him, and he's good.
Yeah.
So that was probably, in terms of like somebody you're going to end up seeing, that was probably the biggest one I remember that was like this.
What about Matt Elam?
Yeah, but that was way earlier. He didn't. It wasn't like signing day. He flipped earlier.
Well, no, but I think what he did was he committed. He was an early enrollee.
He was going to be Florida, and then he committed to Florida State, and then because I remember at the
because he was at the All-American game.
You can't account for God talking to Urban Meyer.
Well, are you a man of faith, Matt?
Calling him the night before. That's what do you want me to do?
Yeah, I mean, Urban Meyer speaks to God, and
you can tell all these years later how genuine that conversation must have been.
I have enjoyed, and I'm man, I'm friends with some of the people in the Jacksonville media. We all are, but man, how just over the moon they all were when the Jaguars hired him, and how this was such a genius move, and this was the Jaguars are finally going to do it. They're gonna, and now it's like, I mean, every single one of them, it just kills that guy, which they should, but like it's crazy how quick that flipped in like a year. I mean,
what's weird is
there were a lot of signs he was going to be this guy before.
Yeah, man, you can't. College football coaching and NFL head football coaching are so different,
especially that kind of guy.
Yes,
turns out holding playing time and intimidating and threatening people doesn't work against grown men
who get paid more than you do.
Yeah, who will look at you and go, "Kick rocks, dude. What you gonna do?" Yeah, no, and also,
and my agent's going to talk to the reporters.
Yeah,
and I'm going.
No, you're going to get rolled. You can't win this way. And he screwed up from the day he was hired. But people who were not being disingenuous knew that Urban Meyer was walking garbage as a human being and wasn't a great coach. He was a very good college coach, obviously, because you can use the tactics that he used and win. You can't in the NFL.
Clearly.
So, well,
maybe not with the Jags. Maybe if he'd been with the Falcons. Maybe he'll be the Falcons coach.
It would not have flown anywhere.
And a great recruiter. I mean, no question. And that's what I think that's the other part of this when it comes to this story with Travis was it comes to the definition of like what's a great recruiter, because now people are, obviously FSU fans are saying, well, obviously he wanted an NIL deal, whatever. And then Deion's like, what NIL deal? We didn't offer him anything. And it's like, well, I'm sure there is a deal. May not have come from you, may not have come from Jackson State, but it's coming from somebody. But then it comes down to, okay, well, what about the coaches who are great recruiters, but who have bagmen? I mean, what's a great recruiter? We all get into and then internally here, the debate is like, can Mike Norvell land those kinds of guys? And it's like, well, what really is a great recruiter? I mean, how many of them are just great people, or how many of them they have contacts to get the thing done?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I do know. I'll tell you somebody who's a great recruiter. Jimbo Fisher is a great recruiter.
Again, but how are we defining great recruiter?
Well, I'm just saying year upon year.
By how many bags you're dropping? I mean, that's what the question.
I'm not arguing with you. Yeah. I'm saying the results year to year to year to year to year show that whatever the definition is, he's good at it.
I guess my thing is it's
people building relationships, or is he giving them oil money?
People use the phrase great recruiter like it's necessarily like it's indicative of their personality,
like
or
it's a
skill.
Trait
and in some cases, maybe it is, and it plays a part. There's no doubt. I'm not saying it's all crooked, but in a lot of these cases, when you're talking about that level, I mean, there's a lot.
Well, and also it's always been like that, but now it's so much more. It's so much more that I don't even know if you could be a good recruiter anymore.
Doesn't matter if you're a good recruiter.
If you have a great relationship,
but if you have a great relationship with a kid and you offer him an NIL deal of $50,000. Somebody else swoops in the night before and offers him $400,000. Yeah. You're not all of a sudden you can't recruit. Yeah. He's going to choose $400,000 like we all would.
I guess that's my point.
But that's the reality now. That's like I mean, it's always kind of been like that, but I think now there's like actual numbers to the bags. Right. That we're putting numbers on the bags now.
Tony, to answer your question, I'm sure the answer is yes.
What was
this? Isn't like some disparaging remark because he's no longer here. I assume so. He wrote. So were bags dropped when Jimbo was the coach at FSU? Yeah, I'm assuming so.
Probably.
I think it's a safe assumption. Sure. I hope so. Whatever.
You got to do what you got to do to compete. You got to do what it's not like if that's the case. We're not saying anything. We don't know.
And it's not every kid.
Allegedly.
And it's not every kid. There's certain players who don't want it and don't ask for it. And certain families who would be offended if you did. Were offered
in fact, you can make the mistake of doing that and they're going to ride.
But to act like it's only about being a recruiter is,
I think to your point, there was a time certainly where, and it wasn't just, I mean, yes, we've always known there were under the table deals for certain kids.
Or jobs for parents or
Things
cars
like
or
that,
stuff like that.
Yeah. Reggie Bush's parents flying from game to game, sitting on the 50. That was a miracle. But anyhow, what I would say about that is there are coaches who combined the ability to get certain kids in, understanding the situation, but also did forge good relationships with people and did speak honestly about how they saw them moving forward, what they projected them as, and they had a good track record. I think we're moving further and further away to his point, which is that even if you were that guy, even if you had the capability of sitting down across from somebody and building a relationship and being brutally honest with what they needed to work on and how hard you were going to challenge them, but how they'd come out the other side a better player, none of that may matter anymore. Well, it may very well just solely be about.
And I think I've asked you this. I can't remember. And I don't think I've asked you this. So how much money do they have to put aside for the football facility? Isn't it like $70-80 million?
Yeah, why don't you just put that in your recruiting funds? Right.
Is that going to help you recruit more than if that all just goes to if that money just went to player development?
There's two lines of thought. There are some people who are already making that argument. There are other people who would say that there are so many things that does in terms of player development that it is more important, because you talk about,
maybe not even player development, player acquisition.
No, I know, but there's two parts of it. You also have to develop the players you get, and you're not going to sign 80 guys to $1 million NIL deals. But a lot of those guys,
not with that way of thinking, I might.
The treatment and everything else. But the Deion being the crux of this is really interesting, because that argument about what is a recruiter, because when Deion started flirting about the idea of being an assistant coach, back when he was putting out feelers, he wanted to join Willie's staff. Remember when Willie was putting together a staff? And the big argument that a lot of people made right off the bat was Deion Sanders is not going to go recruit. He's not going to go put in the time to go evaluate players in South Florida, do all these things you got to do for months of a year and beg all these kids to come. What's interesting is, well, okay, but maybe he doesn't have to. Deion Sanders, maybe he doesn't need to build those relationships. He's not Adam Fuller trying to earn your trust.
Right.
He's Deion freaking Sanders.
Right.
So maybe
they're honored to see him.
Right,
like they would almost think less of him if he banged on their door at 8 a.m. It's like, what are you doing here, Deion? Don't
watch my film. You don't need to.
I want to come to you.
So, and then when you add an NIL into it, it's interesting. But look, man, you watch that team. If you watched them on Saturday or Sunday, whenever they played their game, it's the whole roster's D1 transfers. I mean, and they lost to a team that's not very good.
They got blown the hell out.
So not a good sign. But in terms of getting players, that's not going to be his problem. I mean, they're going to get tons of players, whether or not he spends any time on the road recruiting or not. I only say that because I think it's going to be an interesting topic if he ever decides to make the change.
Well, I also think big picture, it's an interesting topic, because now, I mean, there are people not named Deion Sanders who are influential in the corporate world, who have money guys everywhere. Are we going to start to put together staffs where you have actual coaches and then people who have
public figures
who just happen to be here because they've got good relationships with people who can help get you certain players?
Sure.
I mean, and then during the week of practice, they just go stand and look at the goalpost or whatever. It doesn't really matter.
Plies may end up on the staff at FAU.
That's right.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Navidad. Feliz Navidad.
Hold on, Tom. Is that Eddie again?
Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. Hey, what's up, guys? What are you doing?
Back on the golf course, Eddie? You don't play. Are you playing?
No, man. You know me. I don't know the difference between a 4-iron and a cesta. But
different sports.
I'm out here giving out gift cards, man. I'm delivering some gift cards for people for Christmas. So make sure you come get your gift cards. Call up, order them up. We can get them to you.
Greatest gift to open, especially, I think, out of a stocking.
Ooh,
stocking gift card from Gordo's or Bumpus is where it's at.
Hey, we like pantyhose, stockings, anything you got. We'll put them in there, baby.
Let's try to keep it clean. Take care of your town and your people like you do, Eddie. I'll take one of those gift cards. Thanks, brother.
You bet. If you could wish for anything, Jeff, what would it be?
World peace. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Now that it's Christmas time, it's time to spread the holiday cheer, and there's no better way to lift spirits than a visit to Tallulah CBD. Shop local and stuff your stockings. Delta 8 gummies for $1.99. Chocolates are just $3.50. Oils, vapes, and so much more. Plus, while you shop around, you can now enjoy all new CBD drinks on tap, like Kava, Delta 8, and Kratom. Absolute stress-free shopping. Only at Tallulah CBD on Market Street and in Bannerman Crossing. Merry Christmas from the ladies at Tallulah.
Your home is where your memories live. where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Florida Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 75 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. I'm Andy Cohen with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. Please call me at 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM.
Hey guys, it's Greg Tish here. If you know me, you know how much I love to grill, smoke, and cook outside. With the holidays just right around the corner and the cooler weather, there's nothing better than a backyard fire pit or a custom outdoor kitchen. But where do you start? Well, you start at Hearth and Patio of Tallahassee. They have everything for gas grilling, charcoal, standalone grills, built-ins, custom kitchens, unique high-end fire pits, and you can even build your own pizza oven. And don't forget about maintaining your indoor fireplace. If it hasn't been used in a while, it's a good idea to have Hearth and Patio come take a look at it to make sure it's safe to use. Or you can replace the whole thing and transform the look and style of your room. If it has anything to do with fire, you need to call Hearth and Patio. Write this number down. It's 727-4282. That's 727-4282. Or you can always check out their website to view all their products and services at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
If you're worried about your hard-earned dollars becoming worthless or your 401k or IRA losing value, now is the time to move into gold. No, not gold or silver stocks, but real gold and silver you can actually hold in your hands. How do you get real gold and silver? By calling Oxford Gold today at 833-600-GOLD. The Oxford Gold Group will teach you everything you need to know about owning real gold and silver. It's a lot easier than you think. Call the Oxford Gold Group right now at 833-600-GOLD to get your free gold and silver investment guide. Put your savings and retirement accounts into something real, like gold and silver. Get your free Oxford Gold Group investment guide today and learn how easy it is to have real gold and silver delivered to your home or how you can have real gold and silver in your retirement account. Don't sit back and watch your savings and retirement account suffer. Now is the time to make your money work as hard for you as you did for your money. So do this. Call the Oxford Gold Group right now, today, 833-600-GOLD. That's 833-600-GOLD.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
As we roll on with Seminole Headlines, taking us to Christmas. And you guys in town? What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'll be here through the 29th. Then I'm going up to Corey's neck of the woods. We rented a house up near Atlanta, wherever you live. In the,
right, yeah,
in
somewhere
sticks.
north. Somewhere by Lake Lanier.
Yeah, Lake Lanier. And we're gonna spend close to a week there and just kind of chill out, man. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. Yeah.
There's at least a death every weekend at Lake Lanier.
Well, hopefully it won't be
the
us.
Locals up there call it Camp Crystal Lake.
I like that.
Yeah, but
just mysterious dead bodies found.
No, I mean they're boating accidents. They're BUI accidents.
People getting loose.
Crashes.
Friday
the 13th is what I'm saying.
No, there's no mass killer up there. But yeah, that'll be.
Because I feel like that would be
that
big
we're
news.
aware of.
It would be. I feel like that's the thing about the Camp Crystal Lake stuff with Friday the 13th. Is like at some point, don't you just shut it down?
We're not open this year, guys.
Dropping dead left and right out here.
I mean, every summer there's 16
fashion.
teenagers killed.
They're not just drowning.
No,
it's a spear through the throat.
It's a chainsaw off the torso.
But we can't keep kids away from camping. They can't get enough camping.
Can we go to another one, Mom? No.
It's like the mayor with Jaws. Can't keep the people off the beaches.
Yeah.
It's 4th of July. What are we doing?
Yeah. I never understood that with Jaws. It's like, as long as they're on the island and they're on the beach. Yeah. But like the mayor just wanted his friends to go swimming. Like, get out there and go swimming. It's like, why?
Why?
They're
so
here.
Important?
They're already here. They're
the
just on the beach. They've already spent the money to come for the summer. You don't have to get them out in the water.
There's so much in those movies. In Jaws 2, it happened to be on a few months ago.
I can't stop watching it.
I mean,
could be
when he
Jaws
starts
2
shooting,
or 3 or any of them.
when he starts shooting in the water, like he's. I mean, what?
I don't remember that in Jaws 2. He shoots the shark.
Isn't that when he's like or he didn't start shooting. He's visioning. He's
remembering
worried
from Jaws
yes.
1 though, right?
So
When
the kids he's just screaming at everybody to get out of the water, but just like he's just having just
well,
crazy.
look, man,
There's just
that was a rough summer for him.
I'm wondering, how old were you when you saw Jaws?
I was like 5,
7, 8, something like that.
Crazy times back then. Our parents were terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I didn't go see it live.
My dad
it was,
took
I
me
was
to the theater to see Jaws
2 when it
as a
came out.
little kid.
Yeah.
It was
What
a
are we
phenomenon.
doing?
That was a huge deal.
Well, it
Remember, there
scarred
was
us all
a
for
song.
life.
There was a song on the radio.
Yeah,
like a parody song.
Yeah, no, I can still remember going to see the movie when the guy's head pops out of the bottom of the boat. I was nearly in tears.
Yeah, yeah.
My dad's like, it's all right.
It's all right. It's just a movie. It's just a
fucked
movie
up.
about a killer shark.
Yeah,
You're
don't worry
fine.
about it. Don't worry about it.
And we
How
live
old
by
were
the
you-
ocean.
How old were you when you saw Friday the 13th?
I was 6. My mom let me watch it on HBO. I begged to watch it, so she let me watch it on HBO. And it was pretty freaky.
Well, yeah, it's problematic on a lot of levels. Not only is there mass murder, there's sex. There's a lot of stuff going on here. You're 6 watching all of this.
It's a reason this became this is because of decisions
Dude,
40 years ago.
Kim wouldn't let our kids watch SpongeBob till they were like 16. But like our parents let us watch whatever.
No,
the
it
hell
didn't
we
matter,
wanted.
man. It was cable was new. I figure they didn't know that they hadn't lived
Also,
like we
And
lived.
the parents just didn't. I mean, it was
They
just-
didn't
they
care.
lived their lives. They weren't
Yeah.
living our lives.
Yeah.
We lived their lives.
You could rig the box, too, if you just had
Oh,
a
the
plain
squiggly
card.
lines.
Yeah,
Get rid of the squiggly lines.
that
Kids
was a
watching this have
big
no
deal.
idea what we had to do with squiggly lines.
I remember that. I remember like finding a way with like an ace of spades.
The
just sitting
problem
there
is
trying to get
you needed somebody else to be able to hold that there, because if you're
yeah.
What?
just saying.
What?
Just
Oh
saying.
my god!
We're not saying.
Listen, we're not saying that at all. Let's move
He's
on.
over there trying to find Cinemax in the playing card here. That's not good. That said, let's move forward. And we do have. He's gonna make me laugh. I got to keep it together.
So I wanted to ask you. I can transition. I'll transition.
Well,
you
I
guys
was
think
gonna
about
transition.
Ira doing that. I'll transition to this.
Never gonna think about it.
So I've always said, I've long maintained that Miami would never get to be Miami again. They could never come back because their facilities were so much
some Corey Clark hyperbole. for the
No,
ages.
I 100% believed it. I didn't think it. Anyway, I've gone over it. I didn't ever think Miami could be Miami again. Well, now this is a game changer because facilities won't matter as much as a huge check. It just won't. Like they have now the ability to keep local talent there if they're willing to pay up. And I don't mean pay for an AD or pay for a head coach. If they have the money at their disposal to now pay for players, which is what you're doing in establish NIL deals, well, yeah, they can get back to
Easily.
recruiting top 5 talent in the country.
Yes.
And if they're coached well, it won't matter that no
You're
fans
talking
go to the
about-
games, and it won't matter that their facilities are terrible because those kids won't care about that nearly as much as they care about, oh, here's this PGA Tour size check I've gotten
Yeah. And
for
who
my
can-
services.
And who can blame them?
Nobody.
We said, though, and you pointed this out in your article on warchant.com, we knew that this is where it was headed. We moved into the wild, wild west, and we were all for players getting a piece of the pie. I mean, I don't need to see $11 million a year coaches and facilities with chocolate fountains. But I think we overcorrected. The market may have overcorrected. But at some point, you recognize that when this happened, there would have to be further, I think, as I said before, they'd have to modify this. And my guess is that will happen. At the very least, everybody has to be playing by the same rules. And when you have different laws in different states governing the NIL, that's a problem. Then you can't compete.
Well, and the other thing is we're at this period right now where it's so embryonic in the sense that nobody okay, so right now maybe the top players are getting the big NIL deals. Are you going to take, I think the way what Corey's saying, and I've heard other people say this over the last week, is, man, instead of putting that money into a facility, put that money into NIL deals. Well, okay, how much are you going to invest in 30 kids every year that may bounce after a season? I mean, you're going to pay a kid, an offensive lineman, $600,000, and then he may leave.
I think that's
a
part
year
of it.
later.
I mean, I think that's part of the contract.
Well,
but none of it's regulated. Like I get it.
Well,
Right now, there's no
saying,
contract.
It's all so early. You know, like none of it's and it's all happening on the fly. You can see a scenario where you get to 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, whatever it is, when you're in this one big conference where they've split off, and all they are is just these Power 5 football teams,
Semi-pro teams,
that are doing this. Then maybe there is a salary structure, and in a plan where you have to stay for however many years, and how the payments work. But right now, it is crazy. This process is, and so how do you make a decision? Like your point though, on the football facility, how do you make a decision like that when you don't know what the landscape's going to be 3 years from now? What if you get to a point like that and now you don't have that facility where everybody else does have that facility, and then maybe that becomes a problem.
Well, I mean, I think what we've seen now is, like you guys have just alluded to, we've scratched the surface. I think there will be changes coming, but those changes from whence will they be coming? In that there is no czar of college football. There's nobody saying, hold on, guys, we've got to get a handle on this.
There's nobody that thinks of the betterment of the sport or the good of the sport. Nobody.
No.
Nobody is in control.
No, it's always about money.
Of course.
But 10 years ago, we were screaming. 5 years ago, we were screaming, like, you better get somebody in control of college football that has real authority. And they have to be voted on by the Power 5 commissioners. You got to figure out, I mean, if you will, your ACC, the Pac-10, Pac-12, you got to figure out, do we have a universally agreed upon guy that then can say, for the betterment of the sport, we're going to do this, this, and this. Right now, there is nobody. And that's why I was yelling. And a lot of times it was tongue in cheek, but it really wasn't. When the NCAA revealed it no longer had teeth, and we were moving that direction for a long time before the courts told them officially that they had no teeth, that now was the time, if you really felt seriously about it, to cheat.
Yeah.
Because there are no ramifications.
I don't know if
Nobody
it's
was
cheating now. Is it cheating now?
Well, I'm saying 3 years ago, I was saying, do whatever you got to do because nobody's coming for you. Yeah. And there were schools that recognized that and went, okay, we've got carte blanche.
And surprisingly enough, completely coincidentally, Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M, a school with unlimited resources and a desire to get good at football, suddenly has the best recruiting class in the history of college football.
And it will continue. Yeah. It will continue. So, that's why Florida State fans, rightfully, and it's not just Florida State fans, fans of teams all over the country go, well, we can't compete with Texas oil money.
Yeah.
We don't have it.
And that's the point. And somebody asked us on the message board. Somebody asked me on the message boards today, actually, like, I keep hearing Florida State's not committed to NIL. That's not true. I think Florida State is committed to the NIL, but at the end of the day, you had got what you got.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be as
young
committed.
University.
I'm committed to getting a new truck, but
either you have the truck I'm driving. Yeah.
I like that truck.
But
I
also,
like my truck too.
I do think what's interesting, though, there's another part of this. I do think you'll see some of the top recruits now go to places you would have never dreamt of. If a university decides they want to change their image as to what's possible, if Kansas State decides that number one recruit happens to be from our own backyard, if we get him, we may not win a lot of games next year because he's one player, but it does tell people that we're committed, and it does give the possibility of other kids to look at us through a different prism. So I do think that you won't get a hyper concentration on 3 schools the way we sometimes do now. I do think you'll see a little bit more variety with the upper end guys, but the totality of those classes will still go to those who have the
That's why I would have thought, and I'm sure, and it is still a very big deal for HBCUs to get the number one player in the country. That's a huge deal for Jackson State and for HBCUs. But if it would have happened 4 years ago, it would have felt much more seismic, maybe, to me. Or you wouldn't be, you wouldn't look at it with a jaundiced eye. Like, okay, why are you really going there? He might really be going there to learn from Deion Sanders and to go be a star at an HBCU. But we have no idea what happened behind the scenes to maybe push him there. And we wouldn't blame him if he did.
No,
if he got offered 7 figures to do something, absolutely, man. The NFL is not a guarantee. We've seen plenty of 5-stars cycle through this place that had no shot at the NFL. So go for it. And plus, Ira didn't, like we talked about, Ira didn't see much in him anyway.
I mean, I thought he would contribute by year 3 or year 4. But, but to your point.
What was he on D-Rob's scale?
To your point on having a czar, there is a concern, though, man. I really think there is a concern. We all have a vested interest as people who are proprietors of businesses that cover Florida State sports. There were a lot of people, not just FSU fans, who were turned off by last Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because it was the culmination of, man, everything we did care about recruiting doesn't really matter anymore. The whole process might not really matter anymore. Yeah. That's a weird awakening for some fans. There are a lot of college football fans have realized and moved on and taken a different approach to maybe they did. I got you, but some had not.
Right.
Well, but I think Wednesday,
college football's got a perception problem.
On Wednesday, those people got hit with a big freezing ice cold water.
Well, I made an argument a year ago on the air. I said college football has a problem. Pro football exists, and they do it better.
Yeah.
There's a salary cap. If you're a free agent and I sign you, I know where you're going to be every day.
Yeah.
Nobody's out recruiting you while you're on my roster.
And you can't go
just
anywhere. Leave.
No,
you can't just bounce.
Can't just leave.
The facade was helpful.
Right.
I mean, it was just like in pro wrestling, never admitting that it was fake and then was helpful.
The day you found out it was,
to some kids, to some kids, and then a lot of kids knew, but some kids didn't. And when you take it away completely, it just changes.
Well,
the
and
dynamic.
that's the point I tried to make in the column is like, what is college football? What is it? The fourth biggest sport in the country? Maybe third. It's NFL, NBA, college football, maybe, or MLB. It's in there.
It's all in there. Yeah.
All those other ones, all those huge billion-dollar,
have a system in
they
place.
have a salary structure or a system in place. Even Major League Baseball doesn't have a salary cap per se, but you have 4 years till you can get arbitration, 6 years till you're a free agency or whatever. So they have rules. Right now, there's nothing stopping Florida State from going to Travis Hunter tomorrow and saying, here's $3 million, get out of your NIL, get out of your letter of intent and come to Florida State, or play a year at Jackson State, and then we get you for the next 2. So his decision on Wednesday, what are the odds that we think either one of those guys, Dion or Travis Hunter, will be there in 3 years? So that to me is like, you've got, if you're going to treat it with money, and we're all for it legitimately, they should have been paid long ago, but I think it should have more of a structure with it.
Well, and people can read that column. It's still at warchant.com. You got to search a little bit. It's buried a little bit now.
If you really want to go read it, you can find it.
It was a good column. But that's the thing. Like, you've always kind of argued for a salary cap for coaches, which I think is ridiculous because it's never going to happen. But if you had a salary cap for players, then you would need a salary cap for coaches, because now the coaches become what they are in the NFL, which is interchangeable. The money is about the players. In college, the money's about the coaches because they're the ones who can go out and acquire the players.
Yeah.
But if you have a salary cap, then you don't need to worry. But they're not going to make. You're not going to have coaches making so much.
But it's got to come out of the same pool or something, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would you cap the players, but then the coaches get free reign?
Well, but I'm saying you won't. But there won't be rampant spending for coaches anmore because they're all.
Yeah, they're all coming from the.
You'll realize that Urban Meyer's not a great recruiter. He's just a guy that acquired players.
Who's full
or a great coach.
Yeah. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Holiday travel is approaching pre-pandemic levels, and thousands will pass through the Tallahassee International Airport in the next few days. TLH is on track to see more than a 60% increase in travel this year compared to last. Staff say the busiest times are between 5 and 7 a.m., so if you have an early morning flight this week, lines might be a bit longer than usual. Staff at Tallahassee International Airport expect more than 30,000 travelers in these next 2 weeks. The Florida A&M COVID-19 testing site says they are seeing an increase in people getting tested before the holidays. The site is seeing around 500 tests per day as opposed to the normal 350 tests they had been giving. Tanya Tatum, Director of Student Health Services at FAMU, says Christmas may be a big reason for the increased number of tests, with people trying to stay safe before gatherings this weekend. The site has also been giving out around 100 vaccines per day. This is Rachel Anae with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Slight chance for scattered showers this afternoon, otherwise cloudy skies. Highs around 50, north winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight, lows dip down to about 41. High of 60 tomorrow. Lots of sunshine outside. Low 60s Thursday, much warmer on Friday with highs in the upper 60s. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 45.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Charlie Crist, he's running for governor. To mention the governor, I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. And we see it in presidential. We see it all the time. It's the new norm. We even saw it in local. That it should be. It's like, hey, I'm running for this local
seat.
But
do you understand? I heard a statistic that like half of our population reads at like an grade level.
And what is the other two-thirds rate at?
Half does not. You're right.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3.
Seminole Headlines is brought to you by Register Sausage, serving the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. To find a store near you or to buy directly from Registers, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
So really short segment because we've been long-winded through the first two. So you have to forgive us for this little 5-minute jobber. Hey, now.
Boy, man.
And we'll keep it rolling. That said, we feel like we fully vetted the woes?
Yeah.
One final thing here. The sense of sadness, you guys both kind of hit on it. Even though I think people, if they were pragmatic, if they were realists, knew that the ship sailed, as I said last segment, years and years and years ago. That if you wanted whatever you think college football is in its purest state, I don't know, Ivy League football or something, if you wanted that, that's what you'd have to go watch on the weekends. Because this thing has been corrupted and screwed up for a long, long time. But this felt like the overwhelming evidence that suspicion was 100% true and has somehow gotten worse in a way. But, of course, the counter to that is, well, look, now all of a sudden people are upset because players are getting
for sure. And then there's a lot of other elements to it that people can point to. You say, oh, well, you're mad because it's an HBCU. You're mad because it's Deion.
Oh, no, I'm not even talking about
I'm not saying you.
Yeah.
I just think there are a lot of, but you're right. But to the overall point, the idea that there was something, man, again, it was probably fantasy, but there was something about the recruiting process that fans bought into because they have invested this time and they built these relationships and they've made the parents feel good and the parents and the kid feels good. And the parents trust the coaches. And then, so like when coaches started changing, that's like when coaches started changing jobs right after signing day, people get all mad. Man, you lied to that kid. How can you lie to that kid? And it's like, now this has gone to a point now where maybe it doesn't matter if you've done any of that because it maybe just comes down to that deal that day in that signing.
Also, there's a collegial aspect to college football that no longer exists that devastates people. What I mean by that is when a kid committed to Florida State, he committed to your alma mater. In a lot of cases, he committed to the school you went to.
And you want to believe he loves the school, the way you love the school.
Exactly. And it's not business.
Which
you love the school.
Hasn't been the case in a lot of cases for a long time, but we've all kind of played into it.
Correct. When the Falcons pick up a free agent, he doesn't get weepy-eyed because that free agent's going to the
Falcons.
He
loves Atlanta. He loves the
He can't wait.
He understands the city like I understand the city. He
wants
to be a part of it.
And it's good to know that Jerry loves this city.
It's an Olympic
too.
city.
And that's why he's going to be here playing linebacker for us for the next 4 years. He sees the greatness of this city.
And like when kids in recruiting will be like, oh, yeah, I grew up loving Florida State. Oh, really? Who are your favorite players? Jameis and Derwin James and Jalen Ramsey. It's like, okay, you really didn't grow up loving them, but you've seen them on TV and you like them and you're here now. You know what I'm saying? Like
Coach Taggart, who's your favorite player?
He was the king of that.
Work done. Peter
Warwick,
Warwick,
all those guys.
What's your favorite moment?
Yeah, well, the Peter Warwick, one of those touchdowns.
That was a great moment.
One of those touchdowns Peter Warwick scored.
That was a big one.
Let me ask you this. Speaking of love of school, so the Hula Bowl. You guys aware the Hula Bowl is going to be in Orlando? They're playing it. They're playing
I didn't know
it.
what is the Hula Bowl?
It's like a senior bowl.
Thing?
It's like one of the other senior bowls. Yeah,
so
they still do it. But their stadium, Aloha Stadium, whatever out there, is being renovated. So they're playing it in Orlando. So Mackenzie Milton got invited. He's going to be in the Hula Bowl.
Is he going to play?
So how cool is that? He's going to be he's going to be in the Hula Bowl.
Where he's from.
But be playing in Orlando. Does he wear a UCF helmet or a Florida State helmet?
He better wear a Florida State helmet.
But would you be mad at him if he wore a UCF helmet?
No, because he's in Orlando. Because he's in Orlando. Yeah, yeah. And there'll be people out there specifically to see him play.
I feel like FSU as a community should say, you know what, Mackenzie, man, go wear the UCF.
Aren't they? They have a gold helmet too, right?
Yeah,
you could do both.
So. But
you could have a spear and whatever. There, a little.
Wouldn't we all be okay if he just wore a UCF helmet? I feel like we need to
screw that traitor. If he does that, we never talk about him again. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, yeah, I think that'd be a really cool moment for him to be able because it's his last chance to play football.
But I bet he's probably a little bit reticent about doing it. And the only reason I'm bringing up, Bianchi interviewed him the other day, and it's a Q&A you can find up on the Orlando Sentinel site. It's pretty good, but even in there, like Bianchi's trying to say, "Come on, man, you're a UCF guy." You know, he didn't bring up that topic,
right?
But he did bring up you're a UCF guy, right? Like years from now, and he's like, "Man, I got love for both schools. If they ever played each other, I might, you can tell." And it's like, man, we understand,
you
Mackenzie.
Can say it.
Go. I mean, it's cool you were here, and it's cool he was here. It was a cool story. He just won comeback player of the year from the Mayo Clinic. I mean, it was a cool story. Wasn't a huge contributor on the field. That's fine. But I just think he needs to know that Florida State's fine with him going back to UCF.
Oh, I don't think, nobody's holding a grudge there.
Well, I don't want him to think that people are going to be, and I hope fans wouldn't be mad at him.
No, I don't think so. I think they're much madder at Travis Hunter and Deion Sanders than McKenzie. That's way up higher on their anger radar than McKenzie Milton.
Yeah, no, I think most would be indifferent.
Probably,
think?
I think so. I think
he'd get some. He might get some.
Now, when
he's
being introduced on Sunday Night Football as the starting quarterback of the Packers, who is he going to say? Is he going to say UCF or FSU? By the way,
that would be a miracle.
I was thinking about that. I was watching that game a couple days ago, the Sunday night game, and you know how they introduce the offense, the
players
defense.
frequently don't say
they don't say their colleges anymore. No. And I used to play the game trying to figure when they go Ohio State, Alabama, Auburn,
but
and this kid's saying.
It kind of goes back to our point.
Yes,
right?
exactly right.
They don't really care about it as much as you do.
They start naming their middle schools and their street they grew up on.
If it was a transformative experience and they felt like their life was altered forever or something like that, yes, they will always say their school. For the most part, they'll name their high school or some place where they played junior football.
Because their college experience was very different from our college experience.
That's right, yeah. They were mercenaries.
No
fault of their own.
For the most part.
Come on. Some of them love the schools.
Thanks, Ryan. We appreciate it. Seems perplexing that we sign a 3 to 4 star defensive end in a position of need as a PWO. Any reason Dante Anderson is a PWO?
I don't think, we haven't gotten clarification for sure that he's not going to sign. It may depend on what the numbers end up being at the end of in February. But yeah, he committed, young man from South Florida, Homestead, I think, committed. They like him, did not sign his LOI. We think that's going to happen in February. But yeah, because of a numbers thing, he may end up being a preferred walk-on. We'll have to see.
And is he waiting on the NIL to sign the LOI?
That's a good question.
The VIP? Is it the VIP coming for the CP?
We're going to break. I'm about to cough, and we got to get out for the short segment. Some of the headlines continues in a moment.
Weather is unpredictable and can cause issues around your home. Weston Trawick provides commercial, residential, and industrial electrical wiring services, yearly inspections on fire alarms, portable generator sales, and so much more. With 24/7 emergency service and repair, Weston Trawick will be your calm in the storm. Give them a call at 514-0003. Weston Trawick, professional electrical services day or night. Visit online at westontrawick.com.
In 1853, John Mason Neal wrote the lyrics for A Christmas Carol, telling the story of a good king who went out on the Feast of Stephen the day after Christmas to bring food and firewood to a poor peasant. According to legend, the king's page complained of the bitter cold and deep snow and was about to turn back when this saintly king instructed him to simply follow in his footsteps. Miraculously, the page found that with each step, his feet were warmed along the journey. Thomas Helmore sent the inspiring lyrics to a 13th century tune and gave us the beloved carol, Good King Wenceslas. And now you know another Christmas story.
Brought to you by Dr. Scott Pliskin at Mahan Animal Clinic on Mahan Drive. Call 402-0557. Whitten Glass on South Monroe. 850-222-5781. And by Sellers on Capitol Circle Northeast. Call 850-656-8453.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. Please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're fine.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mndlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Soon we get to headliner questions, and there are plenty.
An abundance.
As we round out the year. I've got some right here, boys. I've got some right here on the Twitter feed as well. So printed it out today. We'll be able to seamlessly go through.
You know, I think we should mention before the end of the hour that overall, that wasn't a bad recruiting class.
Pretty good class. They just whiffed the receiver.
Yeah, but they, you know, who knew what was going to happen with the guy that was, you know, maybe the best receiver in the country. But also, yeah, I mean, they did. There's no getting around.
There's no getting around.
But since then, since signing day, where they had the number 11 or number 12 class in the country, they still have more spaces for that. They've also signed a dude from Wisconsin, or gotten I don't know if they're signing an offensive lineman.
You're not going to disregard him?
No.
Now, he missed a lot of time there, Corey.
I don't understand why we're not doing cartwheels about him, because if you're an offensive lineman at Wisconsin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Same as Notre Dame.
Buddy, I heard you yesterday, and you said they're throwing bodies at the problem.
Correct.
That seems to me very evil what I said about Dylan Gibbons.
No,
you're throwing bodies at a problem.
You always throw bodies. I was talking about the totality of the number of offensive linemen they brought in. 5 in the signing class.
Yep.
After
2 transfers.
And then, so no. You are throwing numbers, but that doesn't mean I'm not excited.
But I think that guy, getting him and then getting the Pittman, I mean, that's 2 4-star guys that you add to that class, and all of a sudden, this is turned into a top 10-ish type class, even without Travis Hunter.
But it is important that you find some linebackers. They whiff there too, for the most part. And do we think that this is all going to be like that? Let me ask you about defensive end. Do you think that one of the things that they knew they had to do was go in, bring in people in the transfer portal immediately, so they weren't going to hyper focus on young defensive ends? They were going to do what they did last year, because they got to have guys to fill that role right now.
I do think that's the thinking, because it's the same thing with they're in the same situation, and they signed those young defensive ends last year that they really like, and I like. Patrick Payton, I think, is going to be a really good player. I don't know if that's going to be in 2022. Byron Turner, they really, really like, but he got a shoulder surgery. So he's going to be healthy in 2022, but he's going to have missed a year in the weight room. You know, the kid Wilson, the kid from Virginia, is a nice, talented athlete, but needs to get bigger and stronger. Then they also have a couple of the other younger guys that are coming on. So yeah, I think I do think it was a conscientious decision to get. Now the question is, can you get those guys when they become available?
Better.
And when will they come available? That's the thing. I think right now people are panicking a little bit because there aren't a lot of them out there. But the reminder from FSU staff, even last week, was, Keir Thomas and Jermaine Johnson weren't in the portal at this point last year. So
yeah, Jermaine was still playing, and you got to figure Georgia, Alabama, those schools where a guy's a good player but can't get on the field, they'll get up in the portal. You got a chance at them.
And the best part is, of course, not only did they decide to come to Florida State, but they had success here in terms of their elevation of play and profile. So now their NFL profile grew. So they're and those are guys that have said that basically they had such a good experience. They'll help recruit for Florida State. I mean, those guys have all but admitted that. The
Caden Lyles is a big deal. It really is.
I mean, he started there for like 15 games.
Yeah, so when he actually was, he was a starting center and then went down. Well, he was starting. He started at 2 different positions on the offensive line. He also started defensive end as a redshirt freshman.
Yeah,
because they were thin there. But he's a guy that can play center or play guard. And last year he was coming back from a season-ending injury and didn't win the job against a guy who was really good at center. But I think now he'd be 2 years away from that injury. I mean, he could be a really, really good offensive lineman to go with what you've got. And then, you bring in, the Bless Harris kid and those high school kids.
We know about Bless Harris.
We think they got like 15 more spots or 12 more spots.
Probably. Oh, overall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. They got 15 more.
Not quite
close,
that.
though, right? Like they're probably barely 55% of the way done with this class. That's crazy. Plus, you got all the money you saved on Hunter.
Right.
Out there floating around. You can pay
you
that
had to give some of that to Armello to get him to.
Well, that's true. And maybe the
delays.
kid from Wisconsin, too. So
hey, by the way, Corey Preston wants you to know, you said that Dylan Gibbons was a bad guy, shaky overall character. You couldn't have been more wrong. Admit it.
Well, exactly right. That's the one thing. I knew he could play, but I'm like, this kid, you don't want his personality down
Well, you
here.
flat out said he'd be probably the best starter we have on the offensive line, but you were really worried what kind of guy he was in the locker room.
Selfish kid.
You thought for sure maybe there was a criminality aspect to who he was.
Selfish for sure, and I didn't think he liked helping out community.
No.
And that has not played out. That has not played out the way we thought it would. I'm gonna live. I was wrong about Maryland in 13. I was wrong about that. I agree with that. This one's different.
You think this is nuanced. You're not proclaiming yourself to be right.
That's correct.
Yeah.
It's more nuanced than me just being completely wrong about Maryland being a problem. But, man, so you think about their offensive line, they have two dudes that are going to be 23 years old and big and have played at Wisconsin and Notre Dame and have played well.
I want 25-year-olds on steroids.
Get some BYU kids.
Whatever you got to have. Everything. Let's go.
Those should be the most valuable players in the country. Like these kids, BYU kids, go on their mission.
Come back,
play a year or two, and then go in the portal.
Let's go.
At 26.
You get a 26-year-old.
How you like me now?
Getting them lifted up. Let's go.
Yeah. They already have 3 kids.
Yeah, let's go.
They have a family. They're doing family Christmas cards. But seriously,
they're balding with a pot belly.
Yeah, it's fine though. They got man strength.
Yeah.
NIL deals with Toys R Us.
But that offensive line now, all of a sudden, like you said, I don't know that Armello, you can even expect him to play as a true freshman. That just doesn't happen a lot.
No.
But they learn from guys. Like they'll get better because they're around it.
We might create some competition.
And they would get the chance to get bigger and stronger, so that when they do play, they're not underdeveloped.
Yes, they don't just go have surgery every offseason.
Headliner questions forthcoming. Stay with Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Local on Real Talk 93.3 WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. With the Omicron variant on the march and COVID cases on the rise, President Biden will announce some major new plans at this hour. Correspondent Julie Walker reports.
The White House provided details in advance, including 500 million free rapid COVID tests shipped to Americans at home and the use of the Defense Production Act to manufacture more, increasing support for hospitals under strain, deploying medical support to the hardest hit states, shipping ventilators and equipment from the national stockpile, setting up new testing and vaccination sites, and providing hundreds of personnel to administer shots. Scientists stress that vaccines and boosters are still the best approach to keep Americans safe from Omicron. I'm Julie Walker.
Meanwhile, in Texas, the office of Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo has announced a death from the Omicron variant.
My phone was ringing, I'm sure you guys noticed, and it was a public health director telling me that we just had our first Omicron-related death. A man in his 50s resides in Harris County Precinct 2.
This is the first death reported from the Omicron variant. Also at townhall.com, the Russian president has reiterated the demand for guarantees from the U.S. and its allies that NATO will not expand eastward, blaming the West for current tensions in Europe. Vladimir Putin's speech at a meeting with Russia's top military brass came just days after Moscow submitted draft security documents demanding that NATO deny membership to Ukraine and other former Soviet countries, and also roll back the alliance's military deployments in Central and Eastern Europe. After 3 days of losses, stocks are higher. The Dow had 533 points, the NASDAQ up 305. More on these stories at townhall.com.
So I invested in one of those fancy new exercise bikes. Without a doubt, a very special tool to help me get healthier. The problem is 3 days go by, then 4, and I've done nothing. And then it's night 5, and I'm sitting at the kitchen table, and I look down at myself, and I can't help but just laugh. Because there I am, wearing the exercise t-shirt that came with the bike, and I'm eating 2 corn dogs. I think we'd all agree, the special tool only matters if we use it to our benefit. At United Faith Mortgage, we believe we have an advantageous tool for you. Our mortgage team is an arm of a bigger company who is a direct lender, which means our company gets to use its own money and make its own decisions. There's no middleman, And often, this allows us to get you a better rate on your refinance or new home purchase, which can save you monthly and lifelong money. We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Middle Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
Every great construction project, whether it's a new addition or renovation, starts with a plan. At T-Spark, we are excited when our clients contact us to assist with that plan. Through our team of architects, draftsmen, engineers, we can help you with your project's planning and design, potentially saving costs in the long run. Whether you have a residential or commercial project, we look forward to working with you. Call us today or visit us at tsparkconstruction.com. License number CGC 1525336.
Live and living color and totally free. Subscribe to Warchant TV on YouTube, the digital home of Warchant.com. From the practice field to pregame and the phone calls afterwards, Warchant's YouTube channel is home to live programming like Seminole Headlines, Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, as well as Trench Talk, a live Q&A with Noles offensive lineman Devontae Love-Taylor. Just search Warchant on YouTube and click or tap the subscribe button. That's it. It's totally free. Warchant TV on YouTube. Just another reason we're the ultimate Seminole sports source.
Seminole Headlines is brought to you by Register Sausage, serving the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. To find a store near you or to buy directly from Registers, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, headliner questions forthcoming. Great to be with you. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV. Don't forget, if you are watching on Warchant TV, to like and subscribe. Helps others find the program and helps us in our endeavors. This hour brought to you by our friends at Birch Orthodontics. Yay, Birch.
Braces.
Yeah. That's right. Yay, braces. Yeah. Oh, it's the time. The countdown clock is on for my youngest. He's not happy about it, but soon
it's coming.
Yeah, it's going to happen. He'll be
coming,
in
Clark.
After the in the new year. He'll be fitted for the braces, and we'll be moving on. But I know, thankfully, that through the experience of his older brother, that good things are happening.
You should do it like in recruiting. Like in recruiting, when a kid from a high school signs at a school, and then a younger player from that same high school gets recruited by that school, and they host them on their visit.
Host them on their visit.
Bryce
could host Clark on the visit. Around
talk him through it, like tell him what Dr. Birch is really like and what the staff is like, and
the chairs, show them where the chairs are.
Yeah, exactly.
And then wasn't it you who wanted to point out the beautiful women?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'd heard about them. I haven't seen them. That was secondhand from Stephanie.
But BirchOrthodontics.com is their website, and they do tremendous work. All of our kids have gone there, and yours should as well. They do orthodontic work for all ages. There's the braces, which we all like to celebrate, but also Invisalign and other orthodontic work as well. BirchOrthodontics.com is the website.
Mary writes and asks the first question, and we love Mary. She's awesome, and she has been a loyal listener and follower of all things three of us have done.
Yay, Mary.
Mary. Yay,
She
Mary
is.
is right. Yeah, she's awesome. What is the greatest Christmas you have had as adults? Thanks for staying on the Florida State roller coaster with me. And since Christmas is the time to say I love you, Squire, I will. I love you guys. I never miss an episode. Merry Christmas from me and Charlie. Well, Merry Christmas, Mary, and we appreciate your support very much.
We really do.
We mean that from the bottom of our hearts. Greatest Christmas you've had as an adult. Yeah. Well, that's usually when your kids are like wowed by something you got them and you can see.
Nah,
it's real.
nobody cares about that.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of a gift for me or something that happened to
specifically
me.
for you,
Yeah. I can't right now.
I think we got them when they were really little. We got them.
Can we get it together over there?
Sorry.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're worried about you.
Live
I'm starting to
radio
catch
here.
it, I think.
Let's keep it together.
He when our kids were little, we ended up getting, we were so broke, just like most young parents are, and we ended up figuring out a way to get Disney World season passes, like annual passes, and so springing them on them for Christmas. That was it wasn't the gift that we got, but just as an adult, that was the best Christmas. I mean, it was probably the best Christmas I've ever had, because just seeing them, we saw a video of them like just jumping up and down.
Oh, it's the greatest thing.
I got my answer. I figured it out. So it was when on Christmas we wrapped presents for my dad and my mom, and they were ultrasounds of Brady when he was in.
Oh, well
and what
done.
was great, it was really nice. They didn't understand it at first, and then my sister understood it immediately, and then my mom's like, "What is?" And then they all got excited.
It's a baby.
It's a baby. It's coming. It's
The
coming in
life
the house.
form.
But what was cool, well, when she was pregnant with us, they didn't even have ultrasounds back then. They they knocked on your belly and
Oh, it looks like you're pregnant.
Moms would just be walking in the store. And the baby
just here comes out.
You're getting fat, Mom. What's going on?
But the best part was that was our gift. Like, we didn't have to go buy anything. We didn't have to go to the store, think about what we were going to buy my dad. It's just like, well, this will work. Meanwhile, Kelly's spending whatever she's spending trying to figure out something.
Hey,
I was
have
just
a kid.
Yeah,
Kelly.
have a kid. Yeah, dogs don't cut it.
I think for us, I don't know why, but Bryce loved what's the train, Thomas the Train. That we bought one of those massive Thomas the Train tracks with the whole board that they used to have in bookstores and all that.
Oh, like silver spoons over
he
here.
thought that thing was the greatest thing ever. And so I remember when we got that, and Clark was a little baby at that time, so something different for him. But I remember when he opened that, and it was, we had it covered up, and the whole thing, the look on his face was sheer joy. And I remember we filmed that as well, and I've gone back and looked at it before. Because something about the second you realize it as a kid, because when I was a kid, for me, the greatest gift I ever got, I always wanted this black and yellow mongoose BMX bike. And when I got it, I remember being overjoyed. So
I want to say something, but if you have kids in the car that are under, say, 10, we're about to have a Santa conversation. So turn it down for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You've got 5 seconds to turn it down.
You don't have 30 seconds at all.
Yeah, but turn it down now because we're having a Santa conversation. But for that, the present you were talking about with the train, who was it from?
Okay, so I brought this up yesterday on the show. My wife and I, and maybe it's just because I'm a selfish a-hole.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
But I don't think it makes you selfish at all.
Well, my wife would say, obviously the presents from Santa are unwrapped because Santa just drops them off and he goes about his business. So then I would say, well, what kind of credit are we giving Santa over here? This thing was from me.
And you put it together.
And yeah. That PS4 came from Mom and Dad. Santa didn't drop off nothing. Yeah. So
that's the one thing Shannon and I did was we would do Santa gifts, but they were for like two or three smaller gifts. But the big stuff were from the
Santa
parents.
got you socks.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Anyway, all right, turn it back up now. Well, I guess they couldn't know. We're done with the Santa conversation, everyone.
Merry Christmas to you and all your headliners, writes Walter. Do any of your 12-year-old kids have the moxie of Charlie Woods? Stone cold killer off the tee. Wow. Putts like Ben Crenshaw. Dude is set for a lifetime.
He's going to be.
You guys are going to talk this amongst yourselves.
All right, go for it, Jeff.
That kid is, unbelievably talented, but you got to think other kids are not going to love Charlie Woods, right? Like, he's not going to have a lot of friends.
I think people, he won't have some genuine friends. I was going to say they're probably not genuine friends.
But, man, that kid's got, he's got 25-year-old Tiger Woods swagger at 12. Like,
yes, he does, but it's also like, man, now he's done this on the national stage. You want to talk about people heaping expectations on this kid. It's like, what are the odds he even ever makes the tour? Like,
I think 30%, probably pretty good now.
Yeah, but you don't know how at 16, is he going to start smoking weed and
let's
dating?
hope so. He's going to need a break.
He's going to need to be calm. But it also is interesting too, because there's no way that Tiger, I was thinking about this. There's no way Tiger's throwing down bags in his golf swing and telling him he sucks and rattling keys when he's putting. And he still looks like a pretty good 12-year-old. Yeah. So maybe Earl Woods' strategy wasn't the only way to build a really good 12-year-old golfer.
There's a lot. There's going to be a lot going on there, but he's been phenomenal.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how good he was. He was the better of the two.
Well, Tiger is coming off a catastrophic
near
death.
I don't need excuses.
Get it together, Tiger. You're one leg.
12-year-old kid is carrying you.
Yeah, so I would note that that's something Trey and I talk about when we do, Beyond the Tips on SiriusXM. Trey talks about all the time when he is recruiting players. Of course, he recruited Brooks Koepka and Daniel Berger and all these guys. And I said, what about any of these guys are you looking for? He goes, well, it's not their swing. Because people think we're always looking at technical aspects of one swing. By the time we see you as a recruit, you've already won amateur tournaments. You've already been very successful. You have figured out how to repeat a swing. I'm not going to mess with your swing. Your swing is your swing. What I want to know is how do you handle adversity and how do you handle pressure? Because that is going to get ratcheted up the further you go along. Like what's on the line now when you have to, it's not just you.
Right.
Like if you play poorly, you just affected your teammates in the university. Yeah. And he said, the ones that have confidence in the midst of all of that to stand over a shot and hit it no matter what. Well, that's what Charlie watching that does. It freaks me out. Like, how could you walk out there? Your dad is who he is. Cameras, TV cameras, other pro players, crowds everywhere. You're his age, and you're smoking a 5-wood off the deck, 240 yards to within 3 feet. That's insane.
Yeah. We'll see, though.
Like, you can't teach that. He's got that now.
Let's see if he becomes like has the Capriati experience, where he gets really famous really quickly and kind of devolves and then bounces back, or if he's just great his whole life.
Stevens writes, with the announcement that Growth House has entered the transfer portal, how much will it hurt that we're losing our most sure tackler on kickoff coverage?
That's a big loss. That's a big loss.
It's a toughie.
The Grow Dog.
Happy holidays, gents, writes David. FSU has a top 15 class, which is great, all things considered. But with the limitations of budget, the ACC, and just looking at how exponentially better the top 3 classes are this year, should fans rethink their expectations for the next few years? Is the ceiling more like Beamer's Virginia Tech teams back in the day, being basically top 25, but not a top 5 team? I actually kind of think that's a fair point.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, for the next 3 years for sure, 2 years for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could say that like that's just FSU's lot in life from now on.
Yeah, I mean, think about like
temporarily though.
I mean, Cincinnati's in the playoff. Cincinnati got there. They don't have finances. They don't have a recruiting base that Florida State has. I know they don't play it's not like the ACC's great shape.
If you hit on a quarterback, it can change.
Right.
Everything.
So I don't think you should just limit your ceiling to this is the best we can do. You could get a great quarterback and have a great run, and then you're in the playoff. I mean, it would be really, really surprising. But I think he's talking about for years down the line.
Yeah,
I think maybe in 2 years, Florida State, especially if they expand the darn thing to 12 like they should, Florida State could be on the cusp of being a playoff contender in 2 years.
What I think is disappointing especially
the way football is now. They might have Travis Hunter next year.
Well, it's fair. The other part that's disappointing, I think, for fans from that day wasn't just losing Travis Hunter, not signing a receiver. It was also the fact that you had some ins with a couple of big-time players that you thought you might be able to get, Marvin Jones Jr. being the biggest of all. And so if you're sitting there thinking, okay, if we can't keep Marvin Jones Jr. from going to Alabama, how is Florida State going to keep any of those types of guys from going to Alabama?
I wish you hadn't brought it up.
Sorry.
I was trying not to think about.
Hey, you know what? We got Marvin
Jr.
Jones Sr. You got to watch Marvin Jones Sr., and that was a better time anyway.
You also might get Marvin Jones Jr. next year too.
That's
he and
true.
Travis Hunter might be
on
a
his
package
way.
deal.
Yeah, he might realize he doesn't like Athens.
That
He
is
doesn't like
the thing,
Kirby.
man. Remember, there were stories. Remember, we did the book for signing day. We talked
I do
about.
remember.
I've got an autographed copy.
Yeah, there was one of my kids was like, "Hey, there's still one on Amazon."
Yeah.
But anyway, when you back in the day, like college recruiters would kind of be assholes to kids.
Hey, easy killer.
What's the matter with
Good
you?
Lord, everybody.
Happy holidays
Would be jerks to people. Sure.
when they decommit or flip at the last second, or something like that,
because they knew
it was over. Well, now, man, you got to keep that relationship.
Yeah, man. Norvell's tweeting something out at 12:30, like, let's celebrate all these choices. It's like, you don't want to come
Remember
out
what a special time this is for these young men.
Like, man, he might be in the portal 9 months from now.
Jason writes, I think Rivals has Julian Armella as the top 20 recruit. ESPN has him at 170th. What could be a reason for such a huge disparity?
There are a few of those, but he's definitely one of them. There have been varying opinions about Julian Armella from the very beginning about whether or not he's
and from credible people on and this is weird. Normally, you'll have sort of a consensus, or you'll have people with real viability in the industry say, "Well, look, if you want to argue if he's the 7th best tackle or the 2nd best tackle, we can have that argument." This is a player that smart people who have been doing a good job in this for a long time have really differing opinions about. I find that odd.
It is. I think part of it is the way he plays. He's lost a lot of weight, but for a long time he just relied on his size.
Sheer size.
And he's got some nastiness to him, so he would like drive guys into the ground after a play.
That plays well on film, but it doesn't work in college because the other guy's going to be as big as
exactly. So there's some stuff like that. But to the overall point that Corey made earlier, he's not going to be the guy that's probably going to contribute for a couple years anyway. The key is, I think the biggest thing is he did help from an esteem standpoint on signing day.
It helped.
It helped.
Yeah,
whatever
absolutely.
he ends up becoming, it's always a crapshoot with offensive linemen anyway. The fact that you got a 5-star after what happened that day, I think it was worth it, even if he doesn't pan out.
Jeffrey writes, and this is a credit to you, Ira. I may have missed some of these interviews. I guess I'm going to have to hear what you have to say here. Initially, I wanted to be upset about the whole Hunter flip. However, after listening to some of Ira's interviews in the last few weeks, I realized we dodged a bullet. It sounds like he may have been the second coming of Corey Mangum.
He's like
I know.
Rouse / Mangum.
Yeah, I was trying to play it up for you, Jeffrey. I played it up for you.
I tried to tell y'all. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Chris writes, first guessing, not second guessing. The decision to not challenge JT by bringing in the best possible transfer quarterback is the wrong one. And when combined with how bad Norvell boned the QB decisions last year to start, I have some concerns about him. Well, last year, obviously, there were some interesting scenarios that led to the decisions they made to start the year. we were not allowed to specifically talk about a lot of what went on in camp at that position. Had we been able to,
Speaking about health availability and injuries.
We can now, though, right? Like, McKenzie's gone and the season's over. Yeah, he wasn't out there for 2 weeks.
Well, there were guys. Yeah,
but Jordan missed time too.
Yeah, Jordan missed time too. But man, there were long stretches of time where both of them missed, and that was a less than ideal camp. That was not the coach's fault. Not the coach's fault.
Yeah,
they struggled to get a true evaluation.
Yeah, there was. I mean, I think it was the week before the season. I think it wasn't like the days leading up to the season opener. I think it was the week before the season opener week, where there was like 4 days in a row where neither one of them played.
Yeah,
and they were working on special teams.
So
on the regular,
and so it was load management. So, but the reality was, those guys missed a lot of reps, and then when the Mackenzie Milton thing happened, man, I really think that kind of screwed them over, where he came in at the end of that game and looked good. I think they felt like they had to start in the next week. And then
we'd have been covering a bowl this Saturday if they hadn't have done that.
And then Jordan gets hurt, and then it's just took 2 more weeks to get out of that tailspin.
What was the start of the question was they didn't get, like, I don't think Norvell's done in the portal, right?
I think the feeling is that they're basically annoyed and Jordan is the guy for this year. They're not bringing in somebody to beat him.
They're content with AJ Duffy coming in and then.
But I don't think they turn like Max Johnson. We don't want you, or so and so. We don't want you. Like we're set here.
There's a feeling like that there wasn't a huge effort to bring in somebody that could beat him out.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's odd too. Like A&M's Jimbo's got that 5-star that's still there, and now this kid's coming in. That's gonna be an interesting quarterback competition too.
I think their philosophy. And this is just me talking. I don't know. My theory would be that if they had somebody that could come in that they knew was a surefire, no doubt, big-time quarterback,
they would do it.
They would do it because they knew what that would do to Jordan. But if they're not sure, then it's not worth the risk. And I think maybe they weren't so sure about some of those guys.
Emory Jones is in the portal.
That's true.
Wouldn't bring him in.
What? What did you see in that last game?
That first quarter? He loves throwing FSU guys.
He would be prolific.
Right in the chest.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Holiday season, it's more important than ever to show some love to our local businesses when tackling your shopping lists. Real Talk 93.3 and the Office of Economic Vitality want to encourage everyone to think local first before you click that Shop Now button from the Big Box website.
Instead, consider checking out some of our very own local businesses like For Pet's Sake, dedicated and passionate care for animals, both large and small, including personalized play dates while you're at work or overnight care when you're away.
Tallahassee Nurseries, your Christmas tree headquarters, offering the highest quality trees in Tallahassee. Reserve your tree in advance, and Tallahassee Nurseries will keep it watered and maintained until you're ready for pickup.
And Divvy Up, custom and creative sock designs that make the perfect stocking stuffer or secret Santa gifts. And for every pair of socks you buy, another pair of socks is donated to help the homeless in need. 'Tis the season to love your local. Find a full list of participating local businesses to love at oevforbusiness.org.
That's oevforbusiness.org.
Hi, Chris Kraft for the Kraft Brothers dealerships. By now, we've all heard that used car prices are through the roof. So your car, yes, the car you're probably driving right now, is worth more at Kraft Nissan Infiniti than anywhere else in North Florida. Every day we buy cars from customers, or they trade up. They come into our dealerships telling us that dealers offer them over Kelley Blue Book price. Forget that. At Kraft, we threw out the Kelley Blue Book prices months ago. With over 100 years combined experience, our appraisers know the market. And they offer you the right price, which is always more money than you'd get anywhere else. So you can sell Kraft your car for holiday cash right now or get maximum savings when you trade in for a new car. Why right now? Because on January 1st, your car has a birthday, is officially a year older. So I've challenged the Kraft appraisers to raise the roof on appraisals. So you see, we get a big factory bonus if we sell 200 more cars by year end, and we're close. It's simple. You buy from us and we share our year-end bonus with you in the form of higher trade-in prices and bigger discounts. But you better hurry because time is ticking on 2021. Kraft Nissan and Infiniti, both on Mahan Drive.
Thank you for calling the Medicare Help Desk. How can we help you?
Can you help me choose the right coverage for myself and my wife?
We sure can. We can help you choose from Medicare Supplements, Medicare Advantage, or standalone prescription drug plans from over 30 different insurance carriers.
How much does it cost? We have a fixed income and can't afford extra expenses.
At the Medicare Help Desk, the consultation is completely free. We are here to help.
Thank you, Medicare Help Desk.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. In my 17 years of experience, I routinely speak to seniors who are overwhelmed by the multitude of coverage options available to them. That's why I created the Medicare Help Desk, a place for you to get clear answers to all your questions and make sense of all the confusion. I've helped thousands of clients, and I live right here in Tallahassee with my family. I am active in my church and wish to help and serve my community. If you need help navigating the Medicare landscape, I'm easy to find. Just visit the MedicareHelpDesk.com. That's the MedicareHelpDesk.com.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad.
Hold on, Tom. Is that Eddie again?
Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. Hey, what's up, guys? What are you doing?
Back on the golf course, Eddie? You don't play. Are you playing?
No, man. You know me. I don't know the difference between a 4-iron and a cesta. But
different sports.
I'm out here giving out gift cards, man. I'm delivering some gift cards for people for Christmas. So make sure you come get your gift cards. Call up, order them up. We can get them to you.
Greatest gift to open, especially, I think, out of a stocking.
Ooh,
stocking gift card from Gordo's or Bumpus is where it's at.
Hey, we like pantyhose, stockings, anything you got. We'll put them in there, baby.
Let's try to keep it clean. Take care of your town and your people like you do, Eddie. I'll take one of those gift cards. Thanks, brother.
You bet. You know, if you could wish for anything, Jeff, what would it be?
World peace. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Gator Kirk writes, Happy holidays, three wise men. What one gift would each of you bring to FSU football this offseason?
Yeah, an All-American receiver.
I like it.
That's to Jordan Travis as much as anyone.
I'll go with a healthy offensive line.
Yeah, no more surgeries. How about that? Can we just go an off season without surgeries?
Yeah, I would either add an offensive lineman or an elite linebacker.
Not a DN? Maybe a hybrid? Maybe a Sean Merriman hybrid?
Yeah, we're gonna get a defensive end in the transfer portal. I have faith. But
okay.
The linebacker, we about tired of watching that.
It would be cool to have good linebackers.
Oh,
like
geez.
wouldn't that just in general, just watching good linebackers?
Yeah,
it like would that kid from Notre Dame a couple years ago, number 6.
Yeah, just have a difference
kid.
maker out there. Yeah,
like when you watch the Cowboys and Micah Parsons is the best player on the field on every
fun
single
to watch
play.
a good
Look
linebacker.
at that guy. Look at that guy. He's in coverage, 40 yards downfield. Now he's stopping the run on 4th and 1.
Those are fun.
Yeah, guys, really, really good.
They're out there. Let's go get one. Go get one, Norvell.
But a good receiver's a good answer too.
All right. Alan writes, Merry Christmas, lads. FSU was the team of the 90s, appeared in many BCS championships, and crescendoed with 2013's final BCS championship. 2014, we are in the first college football playoff. Lose to Oregon. Do you feel that with the ever-changing environment of college football, the 2013-2014 was like the end of an era for FSU? It feels like the gap keeps widening for us. Norvell and company had their chance to show stability amongst the big three, and it appears they've all but lost that edge right now.
I don't know. I'd say that for sure yet. I do think Florida, by all accounts, seems to have made a good hire. I think Miami's made a good hire, but I don't know that, again, I don't know that we know that that's sustainable what they're doing down there. The money they're throwing at it in the short term, whether or not that's going to be in the long term, they still have the problem of the stadium. They still have the problem of being a college team in a sports town that doesn't really care about it. So I'm not so sure about Miami. I do think Florida hired a good coach. I don't know. I don't know if I'd say it's an end of an era. The point we made so many times is it all turns around pretty quickly if you get the right quarterback, maybe a couple pieces in place.
Yeah. And the landscape in this sport is changing every second. So who knows what the next era will even be.
That's the part that I would bring up. Like, I do think that Florida State's, decade, 14, 15-year plus run of sheer dominance in college football is in the rear view. And the landscape has changed to a place where you're not going to see that again. But can Florida State rise up and have a run at a national championship? Yeah, especially because we don't know what the future holds as far as the rules go and everything else that's in play. The whole sport is in flux right now, and I think that leads to the kind of dissatisfaction you see both in the questions and then the responses that, for people who love college football. They feel like, what's going on? They're just screaming to the high heavens. Seth writes, good luck. I appreciate you, Seth. Good linebacker play is a thing of beauty. Also, as the real linebacker we need to get that segment back to what it should be. Thanks for the contribution, Seth. And also, yeah, man, it bothers me to watch a Florida State team that doesn't have good receivers and doesn't have good linebackers. I mean, this was a place where you thought that's a given. They're always going to have that.
Yeah.
Well, they don't.
No, they
don't. They have not in some time.
Remember when I first came here, early 2000s, the battle at linebacker, middle linebacker, was Jarrell Hudson versus Alan Augustin.
Okay.
Jarrell Hudson, who was weighing like 280.
Yeah.
And Alan Augustin, who was a walk-on. And I didn't understand why FSU fans were so frustrated about that situation.
Yeah, but then the next year, 2 years later, Ernie Sims was like a third stringer as a freshman. Like they got some guys that could really play, and then that's just kind of fallen by the wayside. But yeah, I don't know if I'd ever say Florida State was linebacker U. They're DBU. But Travis Hunter would have helped that. They have, but I still say they're DBU or PKU.
Right.
Because the place kickers.
A simple thanks for all the years of FSU sports fun and shenanigans. Merry Christmas to you three. Almost wise men. That from Kevin. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin. I'll take it. I'll take being almost wise.
Sean writes, I just wanted to tell all three of you that we appreciate your coverage of FSU football and recognize how hard the last 5 years have been.
Yeah.
Oh, sleepless nights for the three of us, buddy. I'm telling you right now.
It's a lot more fun to talk about a winning football team. We don't bicker as much.
What's that logo?
It's Travis Matthew. It's a golf. Yeah, it's a really nice golf brand. He's trying to get into the game.
I spent a lot. No, I went to a store thinking I could buy a couple hoodies for myself. My mom wanted me to buy some stuff and she'd pay me for it. That's how we do our Christmas. Yeah. I'm going to take them to her and she's going to wrap them though. Legitimately. Seriously. She wants to do that. Yeah. But this was the only one that wasn't like a fleece or huge or a vest. And I'm like, I'll buy this.
I really want that. Actually.
And it was
I wish Rory would. I can fit into that.
It was $100.
You think she would buy one for Jeff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Think so?
For sure. Yeah.
Can you put a word in?
Yeah, no,
I'll text
her. I'll text her right there. Would you want just this one, or is it not going to be big enough?
Okay, but you need to ask her.
Okay,
I will because you're leaving town soon.
Yeah, I'll buy.
We can go over together, maybe later today.
Well, I don't want to be around you any more than I have to be.
I'll stand by the front door.
Okay, good.
I think you'd look good in that one.
I know I would. Yeah,
Jack.
Oh yeah,
swinging the club.
Yeah,
forget about it. Yeah. Let's finish Sean's question. It hasn't been easy on any of us, and we appreciate you guys grinding it out and helping us get through this trying period. I think this quote by Winston Churchill best defines
here we go, Sean.
Where we are with our football team. Now, this is not the end. It's not even the beginning of the end, but it is perhaps the end of the beginning. Hashtag the original elite headline.
He is the original elite headliner. And I'm a little more optimistic than Sean is. I think it's more than
the beginning. The end of the beginning?
I think it's further than the end of
Let's begin the begin.
Yeah. It's the big
little REM. There you go.
Sure.
Thanks for the shirt. Sarah writes, what changes on the staff do we need to see? Wide receiver, linebacker, defensive end, running back, analyst? Question marks. She's not
Settle
saying.
down, Sarah.
No, but that's question marks. She's asking. Who are the recruiters on this staff, and why are there not more good ones? What,
Sarah?
What returns did Ryan Bartow ever provide us?
Sarah's getting after it, which I like. I like that. But I mean, again, if you take a step back and look at it from a pragmatic point of view,
Sarah's not done.
Oh, okay. All right.
What returns did Randy Shannon provide us?
Okay.
With the big misses in recruiting at key positions, linebacker, defensive end, wide receiver, why were there no plan B recruits? So Sarah's got concerns that I think echo the concerns of a lot of people. Those are not unfair questions.
Yeah, but they had the number 12 class in the country,
and but you also have to fill needs.
Sure, the portal helps.
Well, I was going to say, and then that becomes the question: part, is it? And that's why I asked Norvell, like on signing day, like I think they knew Mortimer was going to flip. So at that point, are you just signing the next best high school receiver you can get, or are you like, okay, let's go find some portal wide receivers? I mean, I think that's what they decided to do. And I think the same thing with defensive end. Yes, they wanted Marvin Jones, but I think they felt like as opposed to going out and scramble to get the next defensive end, they did get Dante Anderson, but maybe let's find out what's in the portal. So I think I think it's fair after what happened last year, what they did in the portal, to give them the benefit of doubt. And then it wasn't like, oh, they just threw up their hands. Wait a minute, we didn't get all these guys.
It's the way you look at recruiting now, right? You just can't look at it the way you did 10 years ago or 5 years ago.
Well, at least when you assess the totality of the class.
Well, number one, you've got early signing period, so you still got 2 months, 6 weeks left to sign.
Early signing
it's
period,
ridiculous. All of it, early signing period, transfer portal, NIL, all at once is a perfect storm of Yuck.
Yes.
But so you look at the early signing period and say, okay, well, they missed on some things. Well, they still got 6 weeks to get other guys. Plus, the portal is a brand new world.
I'm gonna give a little bit and also take a little bit here. I agree with you guys to an extent that there may have been a specifically defensive end where they thought, okay, we're not going to get Marvin Jones Jr. It looks like Alabama's going to pay more than we can. So
Georgia
or Georgia, wherever. One of those.
Georgia doesn't need to pay.
Yeah,
Georgia just sells itself.
Yeah,
the city.
So whatever it might be, right? So I think that's true. I think they straight up whiffed at wide receiver, and
absolutely,
that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Now we'll see. Can they rectify a situation? Because in the modern era, if you whiff, you do have a chance through the transfer portal to kind of save yourself. We'll see. It is a wait and see. I don't know that was a plan at receiver. I'll buy it at defensive end. And it could just be that I'm wrong or right about both. We don't know.
But you got a guy that's proven he can play. We don't know if he's
where I agree with Ira in terms of I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
But her overall questions about the staff, I mean, I can't remember all the different people she wants to fire.
Well, they got rid of the linebackers coach. He went on to take a job at Virginia Tech.
Defensive coordinator at Virginia Tech.
Right.
The running backs coach is David Johnson. If that's who she mentioned. David Johnson. He's recruiting. They like him.
They like him a lot
great.
and for good reason.
I can't remember who else she mentioned. What other positions?
Bartow.
Yeah, I mean,
and Randy Shannon.
Well, I think they would have thought that we would have had more luck with the players down south because of those connections. And okay,
I mean, they got some guys from South Florida. It wasn't a great year from South Florida prospects. They didn't get Marvin Jones.
No, they didn't. They didn't. They got the more important of that family, though. I'm just saying. It was 30 years ago.
Najala Kelly, who ended up going to Miami, and the Cristobal deal ended up. And Wesley was saying that the Cristobal going there was big for a few key guys in this class. No question. That they probably wouldn't have gotten if Manny was still the head coach.
Good wishes, men. In recruiting, I see an uptick in the number of legacies whose parents are my contemporaries, Marvin, Devin, Enzo, Lamont. I feel old. Oh, and I turn 50 tomorrow.
Nice.
Who was the first recruit that made you say, I'm not young anymore? Oh, man. Well, it happened in professional baseball before it happened anywhere else. When I saw King Griffey Jr., and I remember watching King Griffey Sr., and those two played together, and it's happened with a lot of players through the years, where as they came up, I thought, are you kidding me? Tony Gwynn Jr., all these guys. As we began to see those guys come up, I thought, well, this is crazy. And we're now on the verge of seeing King Griffey Jr.'s son be in the majors.
Oh,
and now I will have seen senior, junior, and junior. I mean, like that, the second. I mean, that's insane.
Like Andrew Jones's son is the #1 high school player in the country in baseball. That kind of makes me feel old. But really, I guess Charlie Woods. Seeing a 12-year-old, because I grew up with Tiger. I'm a contemporary. We're the same age. To see him have a 12-year-old out there doing that really does make me feel pretty old.
Florida State, though? Let's see. Maybe Derek Brooks' son coming here. I'm trying to think. Was there ever a guy that I was like, oh, man, that hurts?
Stanford Samuels the third.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one, too.
That was shocking.
Yeah,
we used to see him. He's coming to practice.
You covered both of them. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's yours for sure.
Yeah.
That's definitely Ira's.
Noles writes, Merry Christmas, fellas. I'm actually very excited about our signing class, primarily the offensive line. Which lineman do you think make the biggest impact out of the group? I'll take the Wisconsin transfer.
Well, yeah, that's probably a smart bet.
That is the right bet.
Definitely early.
Because you don't want to have to play those other guys early.
Yeah. I mean, they've got those other guys. They've got size. I mean, Kayshawn Sapp and Kanaya Charlton's like 350 pounds. I mean, he's got to lose some weight, but they've got some big dudes. It's not like
lose that much.
It's not like I hear you. It's not like they signed a bunch of 270 pounders that they've got to. Andrew Dak goes that they got to bulk up.
Yeah, I like signing a 360 pounder and be like, okay, we know this kid likes to eat, and he, you know what I mean? Like, let's get him down to 325. But you look at Georgia and Alabama. Not a lot of svelte dudes on those offensive lines. They're disgusting fat bodies that move people out of the way.
And have some muscle to them.
Yeah, well, they're not all fat.
Mixture.
Yeah, right.
Todd wants to further my explanation of Gasparilla, Corey. He writes, love the show, gents. I heard you guys trying to explain what Gasparilla is to Corey. Corey, it's a huge pirate festival. It goes up Bayshore Boulevard through downtown Tampa.
All right.
I said that.
That's what you need to know.
I said that anyhow. But then he goes on to say, they've had it for over 115 years. With the first floats being drawn by horses. It's a ton of fun, especially partying in the staging area before the parade with all the crews. I go most years. You should go too, but since it's your first time, maybe you should do the children's pirate parade the week before. He gave you a link. He wanted to let you know you could go.
Okay.
You know how they spell crew?
Yeah.
They say cruise?
Yeah.
No.
Krewes. You didn't know that.
No, I didn't.
Well, there was a coup de grace that used to be here.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I didn't. I was half listening, but I will say,
yeah, that's typical.
I feel like if it's a pirate parade, what are you doing on land? You've got a bay right there. Yeah, get those horse-drawn.
There are plenty of people in the
floats.
water too. But what we're saying is these floats are like ships.
Why not just do ships?
It's
a pirate parade.
You people can't walk on water, Corey. We're trying to have some fun while we're walking around.
You're watching from the bridge.
But just going all the way downtown, you don't always have access to the water in that
situation. How about like flooding the streets with water?
Oh,
and
the
then bringing
Coliseum?
bringing real boats.
You guys want
That's
lions?
what Corey wants.
I mean, it wouldn't be great for the horses. But so 1906, the planners are like, you know what? Let's get some horses to drag these floats through the streets.
Yeah, and let's party.
Wouldn't somebody be like, well, we've got water right there. Why don't we just use the ships we have because we're celebrating pirates
but that's
anyway?
very limited space there, man. You need thousands, hundreds of thousands of people show up to this thing. They can't all be on the water.
They're throwing beads from the boats in the ocean. Like, it's just all
Well,
going to pollute the water.
You could reach the
You've seen the
bridge.
recent Super Bowl celebration and the Stanley Cup
Yeah, I
celebration.
thought it was on the water.
Tampa wins every year or something. You've seen all those celebrations. They do that on the water, but there are considerably fewer people in that situation.
We going to get a drunk Tom Brady celebrating this year?
So.
Man, that was rough on Sunday, buddy.
They're some injury-riddled bunch right there. That's we shall see.
I like
wouldn't count 'em out.
Antonio Brown yesterday on Twitter's like, hey, y'all want me back now?
Yeah.
Jazz.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seminole
Both of
Headlines,
y'all.
93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Local news now.
The Georgia Bureau of Investigation is assisting the Cairo Police Department in investigation regarding a home invasion and aggravated assault that occurred early Saturday morning. An elderly female victim was awakened by the sound of someone breaking into her home. She confronted the intruders who fired a weapon, striking her at least once. The homeowner shot back at the intruders. No evidence from the scene indicates any of the intruders were hit. GBI noted that 7 men have been identified and arrested in connection to the case. 5 of the 7 are juveniles and 2 are adults. All arrested have been charged with aggravated assault, criminal attempt to commit murder, armed robbery, cruelty to an elderly person, burglary, and home invasion. A bypass ramp in Bainbridge has been reopened after closing due to a semi-truck overturning. Around 1:40 p.m., a semi-truck overturned on the ramp from Dothan Road to the bypass headed towards Bainbridge yesterday. The driver was taken to the hospital but wasn't badly injured. The ramp was reopened and the scene was cleared around 6 p.m. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macklemoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Slight chance for scattered showers this afternoon, otherwise cloudy skies. Highs around 50, north winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight, lows dip down to about 41. High of 60 tomorrow, lots of sunshine outside. Low 60s Thursday, much warmer on Friday with highs in the upper 60s. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 45.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186. Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
It's Congressman Michael Waltz on the Greg Tish Show.
Good morning, Congressman. How are you doing?
Hey, doing well.
Again, just what you have to go through day in and day out. I don't know how you have hair left, or like Matty Rowe, just completely bald. Hey! Sorry.
And the irony of it all, the progressives are the tail wagging the dog. This whole bipartisan White House is a joke. We're just watching them, eat their own.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3.
Seminole Headlines is brought to you by Register Sausage, serving the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. To find a store near you or to buy directly from Registers, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Jamie writes, Merry Christmas to everyone at Warchant. Having been a Seminole since the early days of Coach Bowden, I've seen a lot of can't-miss top recruits Well, quite simply, miss. And then he names several, including Myron Roll, who I would have been the first to name. Just to name a few. All good players, and in life, Roll certainly did not miss. But perhaps we may not have lost all that much in Hunter. We just don't know. At this point in our program, we need players that are sold on our great university and bringing our program back to respectability and not necessarily, hey, look at me, guys. I would much rather have a 3 or 4 star, the players that play hard, than a 5-star worried about his NIL deal. Not me. Perhaps this is an antiquated thought, but football is still football. It is and it isn't, Jamie, but I appreciate the honesty. Yeah, I get the larger point you're making there, that you want people who come here to be here, the people who,
well, that's why he seemed like that guy. Like for 2 years, he talked about how much he loved Florida State, and he wasn't wavering, and he was stayed firm until the day of the ceremony. That's why it was such a gut punch, I think.
Yeah, and I hate to go in absolutes. I don't think it's all, because we spent a lot of time in the first hour of the show talking about what's become of college football and how kids don't necessarily care about the schools the way you think that they do. That a lot of times it is a mercenary decision. It's not one way or the other. There are plenty of kids who are
gray area.
Amari Gaynor came to Florida State because his dad played at Florida State. He grew up in Tallahassee. He wanted to go to Florida State. He loves Florida State. He's come back for his senior year. There are other kids who have different motivations.
Gentlemen, as you record this, it's live, by the way, Michael. I'm 35,000 feet in the air, headed to Fargo. In honor of that, my question is simple. If you had to put this entire roster in a wood chipper but could save 5 guys, who would they be?
Okay, well, let's not.
He's talking figuratively. The piece of paper, like we're just putting their names on paper.
Right? Yeah, we're not actually putting their bodies in a wood chipper.
5 players. If you were picking 5 players
that you had to keep from the wood chipper,
Jamie Robinson.
Yep.
I mean Jordan Travis.
Yep. Is Fabian Lovett coming back? Because if he is, that's one.
Fabian Lovett for now, sure.
Yeah. Yep. Put him up there.
Dylan Gibbons, I dare say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird.
It's a tough one.
What's weird about the quandary is: are you saying these are 5 guys you would want no matter what, like if you're just starting from scratch, or these are 5 because the most valuable of this current?
Well,
team?
You're keeping them around. They're the best players on this current incarnation of the team.
Because I mean, there have been times where there were players like you would have kept them in no matter what. Like no matter what else is out there.
Yeah,
you're keeping
over anybody.
You're keeping Cam Akers. You're keeping Dalvin Cook.
No, there aren't too many of those guys on this team.
No.
And I don't know. Do you go Noles? Do you go Cooper? Do you go Trayshawn Ward?
I'm leaning towards Noles in that trio.
Okay. Yeah,
I like Trayshawn Ward.
You don't want to throw him into a wood chipper?
I don't.
Okay.
But I love the Fargo reference is funny.
It was very good. That is funny.
Hey, Spencer writes over under 2.5 more years for Coach Norvell.
Over.
I'm going to say over.
I'll go over. But we had to think about it a little bit.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's certainly a possibility it doesn't happen.
Ian writes, I'm ready to start making NFTs, no football tokens, to help the program get ahead. Does FSU have an innovation lab I can partner with? Let's get creative.
I mean, I know I'm old. I'm not as old as you two, thank God, and I never will be.
Yes, you will.
I have no idea I don't understand NFTs at all. I don't know what the allure of them is. And I'm okay not knowing. You know what I mean? Like my parents were about some stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to look into it. I just don't care. Brady, if he gets involved in it somehow, he can try to explain it to me. But otherwise, it's fine. I'll just live my life. I don't know who Dua Lipa is either. I know it's an artist that
I'm much more comfortable not caring about Dua Lipa than NFTs. NFTs will matter maybe in your lifetime. Dua Lipa never will.
She's got some bops.
She's got some bangers.
We call them bops in our house.
Oh, okay. I call them bangers, but I'm from the past.
Can you?
She got some jams.
I'm gonna get in trouble for this, so we'll move it along.
Good. Hey, nice
you
governor
like
on yourself there.
You like
nice
what
filter.
I did there? I tried to.
I don't know, man. Mackenzie Milton tried to start some NFTs. I don't think they got a lot of traction. So, I mean, it is what it is. I don't know that coming up with NFTs is going to be the answer to their financial woes.
Can we do NFTs?
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like we could do an NFT
headlines
of our
NFT.
Yeah, all right.
I think that would be huge. We should do it.
Right.
And a lot of people. I don't know if you read this story, but this guy came up with an NFT who works for the New York Times.
I told you I don't even know what an NFT is.
Non-fungible token. So anyhow, what he ended up doing.
Never mind. I know it now. I got it.
So listen, what he ended up doing was coming up with an NFT because he was doing a story on NFTs to try to educate people what the hell they were because he didn't know either. So he went into the path to figure this out. And he created one for the New York Times. And it was the first of its kind. And he did it kind of as a joke. And when he went to his editors and his bosses, he said, well, let's say this makes a little bit of money am I allowed to keep it? What are we doing with it? And they're like,
Right.
well, we'll donate it to charity. Yeah, it ended up making millions, and he got none of it because it was the first of its kind. So it was kind of interesting. They were able to raise a lot of money for charity, but imagine you're that guy, you got screwed out of money.
Also, he's not a professional athlete. Like, I know he works for the New York Times, but he's
anything
not.
that is
He's
unique,
not rich.
No, but anything that's truly unique, right? So
I just feel like he got screwed out of a lot of money.
I think he did too. But
it probably wasn't his in the first place. It wasn't like it wasn't like the NFT was of like his first, whatever.
Yeah,
something
story
that was-
published.
Are there FTs? Can you have a fungible token? Or
But really quickly,
corner the market.
I think we should do one for Seminole headlines. And unlike a lot of people who do this, where they ask, they curate support and they ask their fans or listeners or supporters of any kind to donate and bid on it, we'll keep the money. I don't want to give any of it to charity. I want us to split it.
Well, absolutely. I didn't know that was on the table.
I'm getting out in front of this, Ira, before we get screwed like the New York Times guy did. I want to make sure we get our money.
We're keeping it. A third, right?
Now, we may do good things with it.
Yeah, but it's coming to us for it's our
hard-earned NFT.
Yeah, we get to do what we want with it. It's our right.
Which is split it.
Have you
3
done
ways.
Twitter questions yet?
Oh yeah, I've printed out the
those are
Facebook
Twitter
questions here and the Twitter questions
Oh,
here.
okay. All right. Sorry.
Man,
machine over
No,
here.
I didn't know. I was
pushing?
excited. I was excited that
You're
you were
being
just out all those
awfully pushy.
Facebook questions.
We've only got like 2 more to go, and we only have 1 more segment to go. And we're going to break right now. We'll come back and answer
there we
those
go.
questions. We're done. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, and Warchant TV.
Slithery, slimy something shows up uninvited in my home, I want it gone. Now. Not next Tuesday, not tomorrow. Today. Pretty sure I'm not sleeping knowing that thing is crawling around in my house. That's why I call Paul's Termite and Pest Control. Here in Tallahassee, Paul's guarantees same-day service if I call before 1. Ants, roaches, mice, wasps, fleas, whatever it is, Paul's responds with guaranteed same-day service. Pretty sure I've never heard that from any other pest company. Guess that's an advantage to being a locally owned and operated company like Paul's Termite and Pest Control. They're here and make things happen fast.
We at Paul's know when you have some pest or rodent in your home, you want it out now. That's why in Tallahassee, we guarantee same-day service. You call us before 1, we'll be there before 5, guaranteed. That's our commitment to you. The health and protection of North Florida friends and neighbors is the reason we love our jobs.
For the elimination of termites or any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Learn more at callpauls.com.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad.
Hold on, Tom. Is that Eddie again?
Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. Hey, what's up, guys? What are you doing?
Back on the golf course, Eddie? You don't play. Are you playing?
No, man. You know me. I don't know the difference between a 4-iron and a cesta. But
different sports.
I'm out here giving out gift cards, man. I'm delivering some gift cards for people for Christmas. So make sure you come get your gift cards. Call up, order them up. We can get them to you.
Greatest gift to open, especially, I think, out of a stocking.
Ooh,
stocking gift card from Gordo's or Bumpus is where it's at.
Hey, we like pantyhose, stockings, anything you got. We'll put them in there, baby.
Let's try to keep it clean. Take care of your town and your people like you do, Eddie. I'll take one of those gift cards. Thanks, brother.
You bet. You know, if you could wish for anything, Jeff, what would it be?
World peace. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
There was a time when a person's word was enough, a time when a handshake meant something and integrity really mattered. Farm Bureau Insurance continues to live by these principles. That's our pledge, and it hasn't changed since the day we got started. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. I'm Andy Cohen with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. Please call me at 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. From Hurricane Kate to Hurricane Michael, Tallahassee has been through a lot, and we've been right here with you because helping you is what we do best.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
As we get set to wrap it up, we wish you all happy holidays, of course. Hope you and your loved ones are safe and have a good one. And
healthy.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one. You got a gift that you're excited to receive this year that you know you're getting?
Well, but you were playing the Andy Dick cameo that we got years ago from a great listener.
Yeah, the Murph.
Should we get on Cameo? You think what do you think we could
as
charge?
Seminole Headlines, the three of us? So every time
what do you think we could charge, like $10?
What would it be? 20 cents.
I feel like we start out like $250, $300, and then just
the
market will tell us what it's worth.
Bear.
Yeah, exactly right. But yeah, I don't think I'm getting really any gifts. Stephanie said she got me something cool.
Isn't it funny? It's cool. No matter how old once you reach a certain age, you really don't care if you get anything at Christmas.
My middle daughter, Alexa, asks me like 3 times a day, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want for Christmas? So I just started making stuff up.
No, nice.
Like
shoelaces,
t-shirts,
yeah,
socks,
NFTs. Tell you want some NFTs.
Kevin says he's going to get Corey a Jordan Travis cameo.
He does.
That would be funny.
Well played, Kevin. Well played.
I guess they can do that, right?
He just got on Cameo.
No, I was going to say, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I guess players can do that. That's a nice money for them.
Get Down or Lay Down says, I want a cameo from you guys. You got to go hard on my message, though. All right.
Yeah, well, we'll try.
We'll try. Yeah.
All right, that's something to think about. You get a
Patreon
account.
Who's going to
organize $7 a month for the three of us?
Yeah.
Which of this trio is going to organize that endeavor?
Yeah, I would say
need
me.
A cameo manager.
We need a cameo, yeah, because I do the Facebook. I've kept that going throughout.
Like a champ.
Yeah. Even what Facebook has now become, I still stay through it. I still
People
stick
still
through
on
it.
the Facebook?
Yeah, I guess I don't go on there except for that to solicit questions. So I feel like I'll start up a cameo. It'd be great for the holidays.
Also,
just
a nice new hat. What's going on over here, Corey?
Same part. I actually bought it exactly right next to this.
This is.
Do you see what it says?
Yeah, it says Bushwood.
I was in 1980 Caddy Championship. So funny hat. It's a good hat. Yeah.
I mean, this whole thing, you got a lot going on.
Ira, look, some people buy new clothes.
You played golf.
I know. I look like it, though. You got to look the part. But I hate golf, and I'm terrible at it. But I like to dress like
you don't
golfers.
hate it. You watch it.
You're right.
I
shouldn't say that. I hate playing it because I'm terrible at it.
Yeah. Another hyperbole moment.
Well, that's what I do.
He wanted to say F you. You can see it. He wanted to say it.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Apparently, you can.
No.
Yeah. You guys are cussing up the storm.
No. He was the problem today.
Dropping an A bomb. You dropped a B bomb.
Not draw attention to things.
Sorry. Is that what's the? They can't fine us for that.
They could. The station could get fined
if they get complaints.
Yeah.
Guys, just be cool.
Yeah. Don't be
cool, man. Just be cool.
Come on, honey bunny.
It's Christmas.
Everybody, chill out.
It's Christmas.
Yeah. We don't want to be fined. Or
We're all a bunch of Fonzies here.
We would flee. We'd run for the hills, pretend like we never worked here.
What if we got fined?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That'd be the end of that. We wouldn't do it. Get Corey a Dylan Gibbons cameo.
Yeah, we could do that too. Look,
They
like
want
that kid.
Gibbons, they want the Gibbons cameo to read, "Go to hell, Corey. I'm better than you ever dreamed." That's what they want. That would actually be a really funny cameo.
That would be funny. Yeah. I assume he's on there too. I assume they're all on there.
So I would get Tom one from the receiver that hasn't done anything forever that he's been on that he loves here. Jordan, or what was his name?
Oh, Jordan Young?
Yeah, he's terrible.
Look, he just hasn't tapped into the potential yet. Let's not call him terrible.
In 6 years, he hasn't found a way to tap in.
Yeah.
Tom loved him from day one. I've been like, anytime now, Tom.
Is Dion on cameo? We could get Jeff a Dion cameo.
Don't even start.
Okay.
Don't even start. And it has nothing to do with anything.
I got you. It has a little bit to do with
no.
happened.
How long ago did I?
Oh, you've been on that train for a while, but that was
long time.
That was man, that was something. What a day! What a day that was.
You know,
and it wasn't Ed Reed doing it.
No.
It was Dion.
Hey, my favorite part is, so for whatever reason, and this is just us sitting around the campfire BS.
Okay, we are on air though with people watching.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The number of people that are watching has increased in the last 5 minutes of this show than at any point during the broadcast.
Just talking about me getting cameos
well,
from
no,
Dylan
just us,
Gibbons?
like just shooting the breeze here.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Everybody's like, oh, they're on. Maybe they just now realized it. Marvin Jones Jr., I feel like our one strong point has been our defensive line, yet we can't get one of the most decorated alums offspring to ever play. Yeah, Jaron, man, I'm sorry.
Picked a bad year for him to come out with the NIL. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if he comes out 2 years ago, maybe it doesn't work out that way.
You think?
It's my theory.
Yeah. Again, though, like, did you really miss him? Let's see where he is a year or two from now. That portal opens up everything. You got to recruit the only guys on your team.
It is funny
now.
to watch coaches just have to say glowing things, even about kids that, even indirectly, even about kids that shun them on a very important day. It's like, wow, great kid, made the best decision for himself. Wish him nothing but the best. Inside they're like, okay, all right, man. Especially given the amount of time. I would struggle with this. This is why, listen, none of us feel sorry for coaches because they make a gazillion dollars.
Yes, correct.
But man, I would really struggle with that. That would be a toughie.
There were some guys in that meeting when we went and interviewed all the coaches on signing day. There were some guys who were trying to process some stuff. You could tell. I mean,
I thought the first 5 minutes of Norvell's presser was him processing some stuff.
8-9 minutes.
Maybe 9 minutes. Yeah.
Just speed reading.
I
wanted
to give him a hug and be like, whoa, hey, slow down, man. We should have delayed this press conference.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is,
look a little shook.
It was a tough situation because you do want to communicate the fact that it's a good class. There's a lot of really good players. The best class Florida State's had the last few years.
Yeah.
There's some
you
really
do
good
want
players.
to communicate that at the same time.
Yeah, and you can't address the fact that you're pissed off at this kid who bailed for Jackson.
Hey, happy holidays, Director Matthew. Thank you so much, as always.
Good work in there, buddy.
Happy holidays to all of you. For Corey, for Ira, I'm Jeff. We'll be back with you in the new year. Take care, everybody. Be well.
We love you.